And welcome back.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to what is our first discussion where both of us have gone into this section completely blind.
Double, double blind One Piece
Double
experience.
blind
That's
research
definitely what that
study.
means. We are, we have both just experienced this for the first time,
And, and I guess just
and
to preface, this is what, 1081 to 1104. If you
yes,
have read 1081 to 1104,
you know,
holy shit. What a section. And what a
uh,
section for you to come back to.
yeah, really.
After,
I
because
I texted Lad after reading this section. I was like, after not reading for so long, I just forgot how much this story can hurt me.
And boy, does this section hurt, right? I mean,
Speaking of hurt, well, right before we get into it, if you haven't read this section, one, what are you doing here?
yeah,
Um,
please leave and go read it
but
and then come back.
yeah,
Or like
there's
mute the video.
a lot of like really tough topics and
Yeah,
very dark
there's
themes
some
we're gonna
heavy
talk
shit
about.
in this arc, in
So
this
like,
section.
just like general content warning for fucked up shit.
Yeah, cuz Kuma's life is
Yeah,
damn, bro.
yeah. I will also say if anyone hears any dogs barking in the background, I apologize. I am dog
It's
sitting
me.
this weekend. It's Lad. He's barking.
Yeah, I'm barking on the other end of the Discord's call, so it'll be his Fugi, not mine. Somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
From across the sea.
Yeah.
But I think that's all the preamble.
I think that's all the
Uh,
preamble. I have notes, you have notes. There's a lot to get to, especially the Kuma
Yes.
backstory. So let's, I guess, sort of blitz through the beginning of this story because I think the second half of this section is a lot
Hey,
more to talk
I'm
about.
not gonna blitz through this first half. I got
I
stuff
know,
to
you're
say
a
about the
Garp
part.
head. I know you're a Garp
I'm a
head. All right,
carpet,
I know. Anyways,
and
we start
he's
this.
maybe dead.
I don't think he's dead.
I think there's a non-zero chance that he is dead.
I don't think he's dead because I don't think Blackbeard gains anything from having him killed.
That's fair.
Anyways,
But
so this
I
section
think that
starts
thematically,
with the rest
yeah.
of the raid on Fullalead from Garp,
Yes.
who is here to save his son, one of his many sons,
One of his many sons.
uh, Kobe. So we pick up after the galaxy impact as he's,
Mhm.
dropped in on
We
Fullalead.
also pick up after the Cumuloglorpus.
That's true. The Cumuloglorpus. How could I forget about the
You
Glorp
know,
Glorp fruit?
Pr- is his name Prince Groose?
I don't know, man. I don't remember. He's the big hat guy. I don't
Big hat
know.
guy.
But
I like a lot of these
I think
new,
these sword guys are fun.
yeah.
I'm excited to see more of them, even though I'm
Hmm.
usually not very excited to see more Marines.
Yeah.
But they're friends with Kobe, so they can't be all bad, right?
Hmm.
Surely.
Uh, fun theory that I've heard that you might not have heard. The sniper rifle girl who's
Yeah.
like in love with Kobe.
Yeah.
People think that she is Akainu's daughter.
Interesting. Is there like any reasoning behind that, or are people just like,
I think that there's like an SBS from some of the volumes on this part, and since we weren't reading volumes, we didn't get those.
mhm,
That said like gives like her information and general stuff, and she has like the same blood type, and is from like the same area of the sea that Akainu was from,
I see.
or I guess Sakazuki now. So there's at least tangential evidence that she might be related to him, which I think is interesting.
That's interesting. I don't know. I haven't really thought much about her at all, to be
No,
honest.
I don't think she's super impactful in this
Yeah,
section.
all my attention
She
has
kind of
been
gets frozen, and then
on the three more important characters with
yeah,
Kobe and Kuzan and Garp. But
yeah,
we start this with Kuzan flashback
yeah.
to him joining Blackbeard's crew,
Hmm.
which is a really it's a super fun little section. that I think
Yeah.
is incredibly interesting that Oda is showing us something like this.
Yes.
Because
And I know that you said it in the live read that it is so similar to the way that Luffy would recruit a crewmate,
yeah,
but different in just the wrong reason, the
yeah,
wrong
in
ways.
just the wrong ways, and it shows you why Blackbeard is so evil. I don't know, like he is so Luffy in so many ways, and it's scary because it's like he's a
Hmm.
Luffy in pointed towards evil and not towards like fun and whimsy and joy.
Yeah.
Because like this whole section of the two of them like just eating food and drinking together and being like, ah, don't you hate that Akainu guy? Me too. And just
Yeah.
like shooting the shit with each other is really, really interesting. And I forget what it is at the end. Like one of his crewmates tries to like kill Kuzan or something.
Oh yeah. Lafitte
Yeah,
talks to
wants to take
Blackbeard,
the fruit
and it's like, we just take his fruit, whatever. And Blackbeard or Kuzan overhears and then tries to kill them.
for, obvious reasons. And
Yeah.
Blackbeard's like, what if instead you come with us? You
Yeah.
know? Justice
Like
in our world is different, and you don't have to trust us. We don't have to be friends. That's not
it's
what being a
I
pirate's
don't
about. Being
I
a
don't
pirate is about
understand
having aligned interests.
I don't understand Kuzan, and I feel like I understand him less after this.
That is also true. What is Kuzan's justice now? Because it's not what
Right?
it used to
Because like
be.
he because he so we know that he didn't kill Saul. I don't know if he knows that,
Yeah, I don't think he
but
knows
but
that.
he
He at least left Saul alive
but,
enough that
like
he could
is
maybe
at
get away. He
least
didn't like
is at
super
least
turbo
yeah.
kill him.
Yeah. And so like there is definitely some sort of like there is some good to him in some capacity. And yet
And yet he's
he has
willing to
aligned
work
himself
with
with
these guys.
Blackbeard. I don't understand unless it really is like deep cover under secret agent, which I don't think is true.
I thought it was true prior to this section. After this section, I no longer think that's the case. I just don't
Yeah,
think I don't know, it just doesn't make sense for that to be the
yeah,
case anymore somehow. Like it's just the whole and the way that Blackbeard entices him with in our world justice takes a different form
hmm
is just so very interesting. And Kuzan, and we'll get to more about why Kuzan is so fascinating in a minute with the
hmm
other flashback.
Oh yeah,
But I want to at least briefly point out that we learn about the man with the burn scar here.
yeah. Again,
We learn about him. We learn more about him here
hmm
from Blackbeard, because Blackbeard tells us that the road poneglyphs are held by there's four of them, which we already knew, and that two of them are with Kaido and Big Mom, which we knew, and that two of them are missing. We know where one of those is. It's on Zoe. But the fourth one is said to be held by a man with a burn scar. Who is this man? Who is this man with the burn scar? And what did they do with the poneglyph that was in Fishman Island? Because that's where it was, presumably.
or maybe not. That one could be the one that Big Mom has.
Maybe. But it's still, I mean, the only one, I don't know. It's still one that's missing, right?
Yes,
And it's so interesting, the burn scar. Because before I had theorized that it might have been Luffy, and now it's obviously not Luffy.
definitely not Luffy, and it's definitely not Kobe. Or it's not Kobe. It's definitely
It's
not
not
Sabo.
Sabo. It's definitely not Kuzan.
So
I mean, we don't know
I
anybody
don't
else that has a burn scar, do we? Like,
I
it's
don't
got to be
think
some
so.
unknown character, unless there's a character that's been hiding a burn scar this whole time.
Does anyone hide their face?
I don't know, or I mean, it could be on their body. I mean, Luffy's
I
is on his
guess. I,
chest.
I guess.
Kuzan
Yeah. I
is
just.
hiding his too. It's just Sabo's that's on the face, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe fucking Shanks has a giant burn scar in his back and nobody knows or something. Maybe it's Buggy the
Yeah.
Clown. It could be
Maybe it's
anybody, really.
Buggy. Dude, Buggy
All right,
having a
we'll get
road
to
poneglyph the whole time.
that would be so
Hey,
funny, and not knowing that it's a
I'm
Repona
gonna I don't know if I told you this. This is the moment that like broke me the most in this section.
The Buggy, this
It
section right
wasn't
here, the Buggy section.
the buggy
Well,
part.
let's get to the buggy part eventually. Let's save the buggy part for the buggy part. We're getting ahead of
Okay,
ourselves a little
we
bit,
are.
I think. Let's just move forward because we get to Kuzan and Garp brawling, right? As
Yeah.
we also, I guess, I God, there's so many things that happen in this section. We also have a brief cut to
Hmm.
the Heart Pirates,
Yeah.
um, who lost, which is not a big
Yeah, they
surprise.
lost. Law's not dead though.
Law's not dead. And also
I think
Chopper just like made a Sulong Rumble Ball. That's
yeah,
my
Chopper the
goat.
drug dealer.
That's my goat. I love Tony Chopper. Carrot joining
Uh
the crew fans in shambles, by the way. Um, but I think it's
crazy.
interesting to note this one little note on Law is that Law being defeated here is worded the Pirate Trafalgar Law and his Heart Pirates defeated. That is different
Yep.
wording than what happened to Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Kid and his
And
pirates got destroyed,
destroyed.
which
I don't think from a narrative perspective it makes sense for Kid to die. But it does not look good for
it does
him,
not look
guys.
good for Eustace Captain Kidd. I think he is probably alive. I am not confident that any other member of his crew is alive, including
Yeah.
Killer. I think they're probably all dead.
Yeah, which
Which is
I think I
crazy. I think also, once again, I talked about this last time about how Shanks, like, who is this guy really? Shanks killed this guy, wiped out this guy's entire crew and just made sure they were all dead. Blackbeard
Mhm.
was like, this is gonna be a little too much. Let's just leave.
Right.
You know, Blackbeard does not go out of his way to stamp the Heart Pirates out of existence,
Yeah.
which is an interesting thing because he is in a position to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Beppo is strong. I'm sure Sulong forms are strong, but we've seen, like,
Well, actually, no, he really isn't.
I mean, not really, but, like, we've seen Sulong
Because
forms lose to Paraspero.
no one in Blackbeard's crew could go after Law in the water.
I guess they do get it, but, like, I mean, could they not have stopped Beppo in time to get Law?
I mean, I don't know.
And it's not like they have a submarine anymore. I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, because we've seen Sulongs lose to people presumably weaker than Blackbeard's crew before, right? Like they got
Yeah.
two of them teaming up against Paraspero got dog walked. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the sun came out, I guess, or the moon got covered up, so they didn't get to
Yeah.
keep fighting. But like, I mean, if Blackbeard can beat Law, surely he can beat a Sulong form, right?
Right. I mean, it may be just like surprise feat,
That's true. It
you
might.
know.
I'm not, I mean, not that I'm trying to power scale here, but like, I think it's interesting that
No, but
Blackbeard does not
doesn't
kill.
go after Kid or
Yeah,
doesn't go after Law with the same sort of
force
ferocity
that
that it seems
Shanks did.
Shanks went after Kid.
And
I
it
would
is.
also I would like to just defend Kid a little bit against the allegations of being useless in mid because regardless of whether or not it happened or not, Kid was about to wipe out a majority of Shanks's fleet in 10 seconds flat.
Yeah, as
And
while
that is
also
why
dealing
Shanks had to.
collateral damage to Elbath,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
why
why he
Shanks
did
had to
it.
do that. So
But
Kid
also, Shanks
is
didn't
safe
have to
with
have
it.
them blow up the Kid pirates after he beat Kid and they were begging
Yeah.
for their lives and giving up the road poneglyphs. And he still had Dory and Bragi kill them a second time
Yeah.
and blow their ship in half. So maybe not.
But who cares about useless
Who cares about
Captain Mid?
useless Captain Mid?
T-Bone is dead.
T-Bone is dead, and it's all thanks to the genius jester, Buggy the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
I love Buggy so much.
Right.
I think, like, very genuinely, Buggy is one of my favorite characters in the whole story.
I 100% agree.
And
He
this
is
one
so
chapter
funny
or so
and so good and so emotional.
is so incredible. I love Buggy. I love the way that he really is sort of like the perfect encapsulation of Oda's writing in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
Buggy is like the outlet for being funny, being serious, and being sad all at the same time. And like being emotional at
Exactly.
the same time. Because you have like the cross-killed flagship that has a Buggy masthead, and we get three
Three
generational buggy faces in a
absurdly
row.
great buggy faces.
Just looking at these faces makes me laugh.
You get the one with his eyes, his nose, and his teeth
Teeth
popped out.
popped out, presumably by the chop chop fruit, because he can do that.
Yeah.
The
You get
like
one. I don't even know how to describe this
the
second one.
absolute despair on his face with Mihawk and Crocodile behind him, and then almost like a truly sad version of the buggy ball face from
Yeah.
way back in Impel Down.
Hmm.
And then the hard cut to his head decapitated, hanging off a hook,
Yeah.
is so good. But we get to really what is the best part of One Piece period, which is Buggy the Clown. And his role in this section is him calling Crocodile and Mihawk the fuck out.
Yeah, dude.
And
Yeah.
I love
And
the
like,
way
oh, it's so good. I
uh
love Buggy
I
being
love it.
getting back to his roots, being a fucking Roger pirate.
Being a Roger Pirate is so good because like we get this vision of the world that Crocodile and Mihawk are striving for, this like
Hmm.
utopia military nation thing, and Pooky's like,
Yeah.
that's not right. This isn't what I wanted to
Right.
do. What am I doing? You want
And that's and he
we
and
need
then he
wealth
gets
and fame and power, don't we?
power.
Oh, I know
Just like the
you
captain.
just like the captain. Kill me. I just the
Oh,
way that he's like he is so fucking powerless against these two, right?
yeah. And he is
And even so,
still
he's
the
ahead
only
on
one
a
with the
hook.
will to call these fuckers out.
They call them out for not chasing their dreams. I mean, Crocodile used to be a man who strove after the title of King of the Pirates,
Right.
and now he wants to make a military nation instead. You really
Right.
call yourselves pirates chasing after these small time goals. And hearing that from Buggy the fucking
Buggy,
clown of all people,
the
the
the guy
king
who
of
was
chasing
the
small
guy
time goals,
who was content hanging out in Orange Town, just like terrorizing a random town and a dog
like going after like the guy who was willing to work with Luffy and Impel Down because he might get to go search for some treasure.
of Captain John's treasure.
Yeah, not even a
Not
good
even
treasure, not even
the
the
One
One
Piece.
Piece, just like a normal treasure. And the way that he like flashes back to the day of
This
Roger's like execution,
this shit. This is what broke me.
and it's
This is
the
what
two
broke
of
me.
them, and like the way that Buggy is remembering how he was disappointed in Shanks not going after the
Yeah,
One Piece, and
because
now
he
after
saw Shanks as this man who shone so brightly that Buggy had to give up on his dream because he just never would be able to compete with Shanks.
like if Shanks
And
isn't even
then
willing to
Shanks
go for it, then
let
how can
him
I?
down.
And Shanks let him down. But now, 24 years later, he hears word that Shanks is finally going after the One Piece,
Hmm.
and he's like, then screw it, man.
Yeah.
Shanks is on the move after all these years, whether by fate or accident. I'm on the same level as him now. So if he's gonna do it, then I want to be king of the pirates.
Oh man.
Fuck yeah, wealth, fame, power.
Fuck
We'll have it
yes,
all.
Buggy.
Fuck yes,
God, I
Buggy.
love him so much.
All of this because one stupid little rubber boy wound up in Orange Town. You know?
Yeah.
Without Monkey D. Luffy, once again,
Yeah.
Buggy of all people would not be chasing his dreams again.
Would not be chasing his dreams.
You know? Like there's
Neither
a
of these other two previous warlords would be chasing their dreams if not for Luffy. Crocodile got beat to shit, and then Mihawk, I guess, I don't know, Mihawk
I don't even know
is
if
a
Mihawk has a
little.
dream. My understanding Mihawk is confusing, obviously, but like my assumption is
I
that
think that
Mihawk
Mihawk
is
gained an appreciation for like being a teacher in the 2 years he spent with Zoro. Is kind of my read of like why he's now going out instead of just being a loner again.
maybe, I don't know. My thought is that and you know maybe this doesn't hold up with the way that Buggy is acting, but like to me, Mihawk has probably been the way that he has been because he lost that rival in Shanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, clearly, judging by what Shanks has done, Shanks is not a pushover in any way, shape, or form.
Exact. And think about the fact that these two that that Mihawk doesn't even want to fight Shanks anymore because Shanks is
He
no longer at his best.
Yeah, he thinks that
He's just
Shanks
not at
is
his peak anymore.
not at his peak anymore, and so he's not worth fighting. Which begs the question: is Mihawk really up to that level? I don't know. I mean, he's
I
getting his
don't
shit talked to him by
know.
Buggy. Is he a
I
fraud?
mean,
I'm not sure. I don't know if I buy the fraud hawk allegations, but
Mihawk the painter.
yeah, Miyagi the painter. Um, but I think it's interesting that like with Shanks on the move towards the One Piece, that brings out this in Buggy, but not out of
Hmm.
Mihawk.
I mean, we don't
I
necessarily know
mean,
if it.
that's true, but like it
Maybe
makes
maybe
me
maybe Mihawk gets
wonder
inspired.
more so. It makes me wonder what is Mihawk's view on
Like,
being the world's greatest swordsman.
yeah, like I want more on him to know. Like he doesn't seem to have any actual goal. His only goal was, or his only like seeming purpose was Shanks as a rival, and that was taken from him.
Yeah, his
So
whole
like,
purpose has been be
what
a
is his
warlord for a while,
purpose?
and now he's just going
Yeah, he was
along with
just being a war like
Crocodile's idea, kind of.
exactly.
I don't know what his deal is, because like I'm imagining, like imagine Zoro is at the level and he's become the world's greatest swordsman. I
Hmm.
don't think Zoro would just like chill if somebody that he considered, like say I don't know, if King was back on the scene and making a move.
Right,
I don't think Zoro would just sit around and be like, whatever. I don't need to
right.
go after the One Piece like Mihawk does, you know?
Hmm.
He would be ready to prove his mettle.
Right.
Anyways, long story short, I love this from Buggy.
Yeah, I love it so much,
I love that he's willing to go after the
I
One
love that
Piece.
it finally recontextualizes the reason that Buggy actually hated Shanks all the way back in Orange Town.
Yeah, he didn't hate Shanks because he was a dreamer. He hated him because he wasn't dreaming hard enough, which is really
Right,
funny from somebody
exactly.
like Buggy,
From
who's
someone like
done
Buggy.
nothing but not dream the whole time.
Like, I mean, and you can imagine a similar situation again because it's always what we come back to. Imagine if that was Zoro. Imagine
Yeah,
if Buggy was Zoro and he heard Luffy say, "I'm not gonna go after the One Piece anymore." Imagine how that would break
or
Zoro.
like not even just Luffy. Like imagine a world where Luffy dies and it's Zoro and Sanji's like
Right?
I
Yeah,
don't care about the all blue anymore. Like I'm not gonna chase that.
yeah.
Zoro would
Or
I mean
or you
Zoro
can
hates Sanji in sort of
or you
that
can
brotherly
flip it,
way, but like
or you can flip
exactly.
it and say, what if Zoro gave up on the dream of being the world's greatest swordsman after Luffy died?
Yeah. Like
Imagine how Sanji would feel.
Sanji would not fuck with that, right? He would it's the same
Exactly.
sort of thing. It's really God, it's so the layers, man.
It's
Anyway.
so good, man.
Anyways, this is chapter 2. We got to move, brother.
Yeah,
We gotta move
we're
because now we gotta go to the incident at the Reverie in Marikwa because Sabo is
yeah.
finally back because he didn't die. What the fuck
Dude,
is this?
Sabo loves being dead.
Sabo really likes faking his death. He's really into that
He,
shit.
he's done that a few times now.
So we get Sabo talking with Iva and Dragon. I also a
Uh-huh.
quick aside. I have not a lot to say about him in this section, but I just love that Iva's back.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Iva
just love seeing Iva.
just Iva existing puts a smile on my face every time he's on screen, and I love him.
Hmm.
Um, and we sort of get the plan that the revolution has been working on to take out the food supplies to Marikwa,
Right.
which is interesting. It's like they're doing
Also,
sort of a war of attrition with
one
them.
thing that I don't think that we picked up on last section that I retroactively realized, the place where like we first got introduced to like Bello Betty and the heads of the revolution way back,
Yeah.
that was in Lelusia.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that was one of the nations that was rebelling
Right.
that is now you know, an endless hole in the ground.
Yeah, that doesn't exist and is kind of like Impel Down question or not Impel Down. Fucking
I've got
I'm so
some
stupid.
ideas about that,
You
by
do?
the
Okay,
way.
we'll get to that in a second. But we get to the truth of what happened on that day in the at the
Right.
Reverie. We get some cool action with the different revolutionary guys
Mhm.
fighting the Fujitora and
I was a little
Kato
disappointed
Kiyu.
to find out what Karasu's actual devil fruit was.
Me too. I
Him
really was hoping he
just
was gonna
being a
be like a Logia of crows.
yeah,
It being soot is a little lame, but he
but
makes it
whatever.
look cool, so whatever. I'm not too upset about it.
He's got style.
I think it's cool that the soot guy is working with the fire guy for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess we just keep moving because
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move. There's not a lot that happens in this chapter other than that. It's a little slower for me to move through the chapters than it used to be. So, but we move into the attempted murder of a celestial dragon. First, Sabo runs into Bonnie,
We're
which is
gonna
fun. We'll have more
we're
to tell you
gonna
about Bonnie
save all
later.
of Body.
We're gonna save Bonnie for later, but I like seeing her
Uh-huh.
interact with Sabo because I just like
Yeah.
seeing more screen time for Sabo because I want to love Sabo.
Yes.
And so we get to Cobra, who just gives us a bunch of crazy fucking information.
Yeah. Just kind of exposits a bunch.
He just kind of exposits a bunch. He gives us a name for Queen Lily of the Nefertari dynasty, who did not become a celestial dragon. And all the celestial dragons
Uh-huh.
are the elders are like
And
staring Cobra down. They're like, "What the fuck is this guy about to say?"
the silhouette of Queen Lily looks just like Vivi.
Yeah, just like Vivi. And then
I'm wondering if what if there's another sort of like this just came to me. What if it's another sort of like uh inherited sort of title thing, like a Joy Boy or a Poseidon,
is like
where like
The Queen Nefertari.
yeah, I don't know,
But
just
I
something
mean,
that came
it's a
to my
name that's
mind.
been erased because then we get like Cobra, the reveal that Queen Lily has not existed in the history.
Yeah. So presumably he found this out when Robin read the Poneglyph.
Yeah, Lily's younger brother, took a throne in Alabasta, or that the poneglyph gave him some information that put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 800 years ago. The ruler from the Nefertari dynasty did not live here, but for whatever reason, she never came back to Alabasta either.
So did she get erased from
Based, what
history?
happened to her? Anyways, he brings up the question of the D, which we don't get an answer to. But we cut to Shirahoshi, and I hate the Celestial Dragons even more. I
Yeah.
especially hate now after the backstory, seeing them force Kuma to do this to her
Mm-hmm.
really does not make me feel good. So I'm gonna turn the page.
Yep.
Um, my poor boy. I do like that the Tontata and the other guy, Sai, I think his name,
Yeah.
go to bat for Shirahoshi, which I think is nice.
Because they're pirates now.
They're pirates now; they can do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then while Cobra is talking with the elders, Emu decides to make an appearance
Yeah.
and reveal themselves to Cobra, which is crazy that
Uh-huh.
they're willing to do something like that. I mean, obviously they're confident that Cobra's not leaving alive.
Yeah, not leaving this room.
And Cobra reveals, "I know the name Emu already, but it must be a coincidence. Among the first 20, do not seek the answer. I will not provide it." Ugh.
Yeah,
What the
so
fuck is Emu?
Emu is immortal, has been here for at least 800 years. Maybe so have the elders.
Maybe so have the elders, which to me raises a lot of questions.
So many questions.
Because I think and that we obviously with the elders, you see it a little bit later with the Kuma backstory, but you have to ask how. Are
I mean,
they
pop fruit, immortality
but for this
surgery
many of them?
for 6 of them?
I could see it for Emu. That could be a way to do the Chekhov's gun without killing Law, right?
Yeah.
But it seems at least like what is a Saturn, J. Garcia Saturn,
Yeah.
appears to also at least if not immortal, really fucking old.
Uh-huh.
Because he looks here in the present day like he's what, maybe 80, 90, maybe like 65 very youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 years back in the flashback with Kuma, he looks identical.
Exactly the same.
It looks identical. So this guy's really fucking old, presumably.
Mm-hmm. And if he is, presumably the rest of them are as well.
And presumably the rest of them are just as old as he is. So how old are
Mm-hmm.
they? And Emu confirms to us once again that the D are the name of the people who once opposed them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many things, and we learned that whatever Lily did was spread the poneglyphs across the world. But how?
I think Lily had the pawpaw fruit.
That could make sense. That does make
I,
sense.
yeah. Or at least someone, I think the pawpaw fruit is how the poneglyphs got spread.
that certainly makes sense. I was thinking that it was maybe since the castle is called Pangea Castle,
Oh, that's
I
also
was thinking that
another
maybe they
another
had
idea.
like somehow, I don't know how Lily would have done this, but somehow split the world
Hmm.
and created all the islands, causing all the poneglyphs that were in like one place to splinter off into different islands. But I don't know how
But
they would have been able to do
we
that.
know that the poneglyphs were made in Wano.
Yeah. And they certainly didn't split Wano into pieces.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just a lot of questions.
I think it's the pawpaw fruit.
I think Pawpaw Fruit makes sense. Um,
It's the only power we've seen in this world
do something like this.
that could transport so many items across the world so far.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. I guess I was on like the maybe like the Quake Fruit forcing a
Maybe.
Pangea, but I don't know if the Quake Fruit can even do that, if it's that strong or not. I
Who
guess we don't know.
knows?
We don't know a lot of stuff. But we learn from Cobra as he's accepted his fate that he's going to die.
Hmm.
That letter was signed by the Queen of Alabasta, and her name was Nefertari D. Lily. What?
Ye-
Brother,
you, you just peeked the fuck out of your mic.
I don't care, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
What do you
Lily was a
mean
D. Cobra is
Cobra's a
a D.
D,
Vivi
Vivi
is
is
a
a
D.
D? Get her back on the Thousand Sunny this instant!
Immediately.
Immediately! And then he gets like shot by the fucking arrow gun that turns you into a trophy from Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
So
And
this is not something that I came up with on my own. It's something that I saw. This the arrow also kind of looks like a cartoon devil tail.
interesting.
And so what if uh Emu also has like cartoon powers but like evil?
Interesting. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting idea. And then we get the tease, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get the tease of all of
The
the
five
elders
elders,
using their
I
presumably
presumably
devil
all
fruits,
Zoan.
presumably all awakened Zoan fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just they're scary, right?
Yeah.
Like these silhouettes
These
are
all seem
goofy, but they're very scary.
like
They're like
uh what's the word? Like eldritch sort
eldritch
of
kind of
beast.
things. And we get a visual of one of them, which I guess is what is it? The one on the left? Or is he the one on the
Yeah, like
right?
the
I don't know.
I think he's the one on the left, the like
He's
bull
he's
thing.
obviously not the bird, the Slender Man, or the giant guy walking down the wall.
Yeah,
Assuming that's
I think
not
that
Emu. Is that Emu? I have no idea, man. All of this shit
no,
is so crazy to me.
I think the emu is in this left hand panel, though just like two giant
Yeah,
eyes
the
in
two
the
giant
static.
eyes. That makes sense. I it's just like this shit is so crazy. I didn't even think these guys would have like fruits.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe my guess is that maybe they're like yokai or something, all of them?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
at
know enough
least
about
I don't either.
whatever the hell Jay Garcia Saturn
I don't know what he is. I
actually
mean, we don't
is
know
to
what
be
he
able to
is yet,
predict.
right? Like we haven't been told
Yeah.
at least in story. So, I don't know what he is. My guess is that maybe they're like yokai or maybe they're like demons, like one of them's like Beelzebub or something, but I don't know, maybe that seems like too
Oh, that could be
far.
it.
But I don't know what is too far at this point.
Yeah.
Um and Cobra entrusts Sabo with a final message that he wants to deliver to Luffy
Mhm.
and to Vivi. That
Yeah.
Vivi also bears the name of D. And we get a moment here that I want to at least briefly mention that I
Hmm.
I mentioned way back when in Dressrosa is that
Uh-huh.
Sabo is surrounded by the D. And they bring this up in story. I think it's either Iva or Dragon is like, huh, it sure is funny that you're
Yeah.
always surrounded by these D people, eh, Sabo? What the fuck
Uh-huh.
is up with that, man?
I don't
How is he part of their checkered fate?
right.
Is he a D? I don't think so.
I don't think he is.
But I think
I
that
think it's more interesting if he's not.
yeah, but what is it about Sabo? What is this non-D person that is part of the fate of the D? And how does Sabo play into that? Is such an interesting It's such an interesting question. I also
Right.
think it's interesting that the words here from Cobra get blocked out
Mm-hmm.
with, the poneglyphs must be protected, maybe?
Maybe
Bear the flag of the dawn
flag
against something world?
against so
Nefertari D. Lily. Like, what does it mean, man? What does it
no
all
idea.
mean? And then we get, to breathe some light into this crazy reveal and Cobra being killed. Wapple saw the whole fucking thing, and now he's so screwed.
Let's go Wapple.
Way to go, Wapple. Way to expose the world government for their crimes. You go, brother. You go, Wapple. But it's very funny to me that Wapple is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learn sort of how Vivi gets protected as well.
Right.
And we also get the confirmation that the other CP9 guys are part of CP0, which
Yeah,
I was not expecting, to be honest.
I didn't expect that either.
I kind of thought they
I
had,
thought maybe Caulifla would be,
yeah, I thought like
because like,
maybe Khalifa, maybe Jabra, because Jabra was like sort of on the level of Kaku.
mm-hmm.
I was not expecting all of them. Certainly not the Chapapa and Yo-Yoi guys.
Yeah,
Um,
and the door
and the
man.
Door Doormate, because like, how did these guys get upgraded to CP0 after all getting their shit kicked in by the Straw Hats? I just don't
No
understand.
idea.
But they've kidnapped Vivi on orders to, and I quote, make her go down as missing and end up as someone's pet, which is
Yeah.
gross and makes me angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate them, and I love Vivi, and I'm so glad that she's all right. And I think it's telling about Vivi that Khalifa says that she's gonna end up as someone's pet, and in response, Vivi asks if Shirahoshi is okay.
Yeah.
She is just so sweet.
Oh.
She is just so sweet, man. I love Vivi. I need her
You
back
see
on the Sunny, man.
the two wolves inside me fighting on whether I want Yamato or Vivi to be the final straw hat.
Can't they just both be the final Straw Hat? I mean, what's the harm? We can just
Come
ignore that
on.
Luffy said he needed 10 guys. We can have 11 guys.
Luffy was stupid back then. He's
Luffy
still
was
stupid.
stupid. Luffy didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Also, brief aside on this section, it's the one, like literally one panel that mentions this. Fujitora helped
Hmm.
the Revolutionary Army free the slaves,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. I mean, it's in character for him. It's the kind of thing I would
Mhm.
expect him to do, but I'm surprised that he would do it in Marihua.
Right?
And presumably
And
he has not been like expelled from the Marines.
I mean,
Um,
who knows?
I mean, maybe he
But
has, but like,
Ryokyu apparently snapped and turned on him.
and obviously Akainu is not going to be very chill about him doing that.
Yeah.
Which to me begs the question, why are they still leaving this guy as an admiral? Clearly,
I
this
have
guy
no
believes
idea.
in actual justice and not marine justice. Like, how is this guy still an admiral? They drafted him. Why did they not? Like, surely they had somebody that was capable enough to be an admiral. They didn't have to draft. Anyways, there is still so much. We got to move a little quicker, I think. But we
Yeah.
can talk forever. I don't really care how long it goes for. Um, but I really want to get into the actual egghead stuff. And the rest of the Kuzan Garp stuff.
Yeah.
But uh yeah, so the elders are so interesting, man.
Hmm.
Also, as I mentioned, I was just talking about the Sabo thing. It's the elders that mention that Sabo is surrounded by the deep. And that's
Yeah.
really interesting to me that the
Hmm.
elders of all people are noting it.
Hmm.
Another man who bears a checkered fate. No one has led a life more affected by the deep. What?
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 What? What?
What do you mean?
What do you fucking mean, bro? And
What do
then
you mean,
turn the page.
AJ Garcia Saturn?
What do you mean, bro? And then turn the page. Emu wants to use Vegapunk's new creation, the Mother Flame, on Leluja.
Uh-huh.
And also, the elders are like, why Leluja? And Emu's like, don't ask. And they're like, you got it. And then I think this is to me, and obviously with the rest of Egghead, the signaling that the elders are now real players in the story.
Yeah,
Getting
absolutely.
like a reintroduction, all their names and what they do and who they are
Mm-hmm.
is like the
Yeah.
okay, these guys are now the new threat, right? I mean, obviously Luffy
Mm-hmm.
has no idea.
Right.
And that's the other big thing. Is like how the fuck do we get to Luffy fighting these guys? Because it's gonna happen eventually, right?
Right.
It's inevitable. And
Uh-huh.
maybe it's
I mean,
just Saint J. Garcia showing up in Egghead.
yeah.
But I don't think Luffy is gonna care. To
Yeah.
be honest, I think Luffy's gonna get off the island and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, we're going to Elbaf,"
Mm-hmm.
and then not care at all about the fact they just got attacked by an elder.
Right. Also, I'm
Um,
sort of noticing the Saturn and
that's not
Jupiter,
his name. Oh,
both.
I guess it is his name. I don't want to say
Yeah,
that.
it
It
is
sounds
his name.
it's stupid. I don't care. Jupiter.
Both have very prominent scars. And I'm trying to remember if any of the other ones, if we've seen them have prominent scars.
I don't even. I mean, we haven't really seen them at much at all. I don't think
I
so
mean,
though.
Mercury has a weird little like thing on his head, but that doesn't feel like a scar.
Yeah, and also we get that Emu requests to the elders that they desire Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
It will be done. We also get the reveal of the other original Warlord
Yep.
Seraphims. So those
Yeah,
exist, and it
we
still
have a
has the stupid fucking
Doflamingo Amoria.
glasses.
It does have the stupid fucking glasses.
Vega. Do you think it's in his bloodline element? Is the stupid glasses that he
It
wears?
must be.
And so we learn that Sabo gathered up the people of Leluja, and then called them as they left. And then a great shadow, something that no natural living creature could explain, some dark, fast thing flew above the clouds and erased Leluja from existence,
Mm-hmm.
leaving.
Is it Uranus?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
previously I have been anti it being Uranus. But then I don't know what led me to this thought process, but I was thinking about it. And I mean, I still am of the idea that there is maybe a creature and there is a ship.
Mm-hmm.
But what if Luffy is not one of the people?
Yeah.
What if it's, Shirahoshi, Momo, Emu?
And Emu? Yeah. That's also a possibility.
And then I was thinking, like, I don't know, just all these things, like the mother flame. We don't know what that is, but that could be. And my conception is maybe it's like a UFO or something, or like a rocket ship, like a
Yeah.
spaceship that Vegapunk has built, and it's like a flying ship that Emu is using as the ship for the Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Presuming still that there is a ship and an animal. I don't know what the animal would be. Um, or like, what if the legendary dragon is the animal for one
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them,
yeah.
the
That could
the
be.
one that's in Wano,
Mm-hmm.
and so Momo is the person and the animal, and then but then I
Mm-hmm.
don't know because I still think that the thing that's
Is
trapped in Wano is the
is
animal,
Zun
and then
what if
what's
Zunesha is
Zunesha?
a ship?
But what if Zunesha isn't? I mean, he probably is, right? Because he commanded him to do it. I don't know. There's so many questions of what
I
these
don't know.
fucking weapons are. That it's not even clear that
Yeah.
Zunesha is a weapon. Like he could just not be.
Yeah.
He could just be a
I
god.
got I got no idea, man.
Ugh.
I did just have the thought, and I don't think this is true, but what if Emu is actually Lily, and that's why she didn't go back
I think
to
it's not impossible that it's Lily.
which would go along with what I was saying of there being like the Joy Boy, the Poseidon, and Lily being another one of the reincarnation sort of things going on.
Maybe I don't know. I think it's possible because the initial shot of Lily kind of in silhouette is similar to Emu, but I
Mhm.
feel like to me it doesn't make a lot of sense for Emu. I mean, maybe it does make sense that Emu's a D, but they call the people of the D like their enemy. I don't know. And like the
I don't
way that
just
they asked about the name of Lily, I don't know. To me it doesn't add up. And then we get a brief mention of Saint Figureland Garling,
Yeah.
who will come, I guess, come back to a little bit more in the flashback. Um, do we want to save that for
That's.
then, or mention him
I mean, we
now?
can say we can talk about the pamphlet a little bit.
Let's talk about the pamphlet. So Shanks's last name is what? If you would remind me from the pamphlet.
It's Figureland.
Yeah, it's Figureland, and that he's maybe the son of a celestial dragon.
Yeah, and Shanks was found in a treasure chest on God Valley by Goldie Roger.
Goldie Roger. And guess who was at God Valley? Oh yeah, Figureland, that guy we just saw. He was there 40 years
Figureland
ago.
Garling. Yeah, isn't that fun?
Isn't that fun?
That's
And you know,
Shanks' dad.
that's probably Shanks' dad, most likely. Because the younger version of him looks like Shanks with a stupid ass haircut.
Exactly like
It
Shanks.
looks like Shanks with a dumbass haircut. It's
If you
actually
just
crazy.
cover the hair, it's exactly like Shanks, but no scar.
Cover the hair, draw in a scar. It's Shanks. It's which is ridiculous. It's crazy. What do you mean? A pamphlet?
What? A pamphlet.
A
Pamphlet that
pamphlet.
came with your ticket to film Red. Oh,
Anyways, back to the raid on Fullalead.
yeah.
Um, because Garp is, I mean, Garp is a beast.
Garp is really proving why he is the hero of the Marines.
Yeah, like this old man, he's still got it.
Yeah.
I mean, if Galaxy Impact wasn't enough to show that, he's still like he's fighting Kuzan,
Soloing.
Shiryu, protecting like his allies while
Yeah.
soloing multiple members of Blackbeard's
Multiple
main
of
10
the
guys
10 Titanic. The 10
with
Titanic captains or whatever.
with Kuzan and Shiryu and the
Shiryu
island
and the
guy
island guy and the drunk guy.
and the drunk guy while also taking on hordes of regular pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And then we flash back to a younger Garp and a younger Kuzan.
It really is. Garp cannot raise someone to stay in the Marines.
And I don't think Kobe is the exception. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't either.
But I think I want to use this moment to talk about because I love this moment flashing back with the two of them
Mm-hmm.
of how like he sort of raised Kuzan as his like Marine protege like he did with Kobe.
Right.
And every single person that Garp tries to raise to be a Marine leaves. You know, or doesn't go at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Dragon joined the Marines, and we get a line from him later where he says he didn't find any of the justice they talk about there.
Mm-hmm.
Kuzan became an admiral and then quit to join the Blackbeard pirates. Don't even get me started on Luffy and Ace.
Right.
And then Kobe, who is currently a Marine, has already thrown in his Marine code.
Yeah, has already become a sword member.
Like, I just...
So, I don't, like, it seems like Garp is, like, radicalizing all of these kids, or at least, like, laying the seeds of being radicalized. And yet he himself...
has not been.
Like, or maybe he just... I don't know why he is still in the Marines.
I'm so hung up on, like, why is Garp... What is it that the rest of them saw that Garp has not seen? Like, why is he not quit the Marines too? Because it's clear that he doesn't really agree with the Marines. Because he didn't want to go to the God Valley thing. He only went when he learned that he could fight Roger.
Right.
He was talking shit about the Celestial Dragons at Marihua, like it was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just like... He almost killed a Kainu back in Marineford. He had to hold himself back from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, what is it? What justice has Garp found in the Marines that everybody else hasn't?
Right. Is there something that Garp knows that, or has he seen that is tying him to the Marines still? Or is it that everyone else has seen something that Garp hasn't?
Yeah, it's just really interesting because it's just such an interesting window into Garp's mindset, and it brings so many questions forward about who Garp really is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like Garp is an evil man, it would seem, to me.
No.
He is not like an Akainu-esque figure, or a Ryokugyu.
Right.
You know? He
Hmm.
doesn't believe in the celestial dragon. I mean, he's a D.
Exactly. He
What
literally is a D.
what is it about Garp? I don't know. It's really fascinating.
It is.
And maybe you have more to say about Garp than I do here, because
I mean, I
You're the Garp head.
so I want to get till we hear the line
Okay. Um,
because I want to be able to quote it directly as we get there. We might.
but we get a lot
Well,
of this fight is really cool. This whole fight between the two of them
yeah.
and Garp like
And if
fighting the island and everything is really awesome.
did you go back and watch this in the anime?
I have not gone back and watched any of this in
Uh,
the anime. No.
yeah, yeah, you gotta do that. We'll do that. We'll do that later. Uh, here's what I'm talking about. I have one of my notes that says "old man on a boat."
Right.
Go
I
flip,
mean,
go
I
flip
still
back.
don't know what that means. You got to tell me what
Go
line
flip,
I'm where I'm
go flip
supposed to
back.
be. This one here with the future.
Yeah, here.
Okay.
Uh,
You go. You're up.
so here it says it's like a hypothetical that Garp is posing to Kobe and some of the his other students. An old man and a baby have been left on an island uh, of ravenous beasts. You're on a, oh, sorry, I can't fucking read. That's why he does the live reads,
Yeah.
guys.
An old man and a
An
baby
old
have
man
been
and a
left
baby.
behind on an island of ravenous beasts. You are out in a rowboat that can only hold two. What do you do?
Kobe says, "I get off the rowboat. Both of them can make it." Garp says, "Wrong, you nincompoop. You leave the
You
old man. He's half dead anyway." And that is exactly what we see throughout this whole entire arc. We have a whole lot of old men on a whole lot of boats. We have Garp at the end of this section. We have St. J. Garcia Saturn on a boat. We have Vegapunk trying to get on the boat. I think that by the end of this arc, Garp, Saturn, and Vegapunk are all going to be
interesting. That is an interesting thought. They're all half dead already, and it's the people's futures that have to be
dead. Mm-hmm.
interesting. So, in my conception, we've traded Garp for Kobe.
Right.
We trade maybe Vegapunk for Bonnie.
Yeah.
But then who does Jay Garcia die to help get away or get on the boat instead?
What if
What
what
if he
if what if one of the Vegapunks lives? What if this Stella doesn't need to be what if like one of the younger Vegapunks can make it out?
that's certainly possible.
Can exist without the Stella.
It also and you know, just thinking out loud here, it might be possible to sort of sell us on what is different about the elders
True.
is if
It
somebody
it could be
young
that
dies
Saturn doesn't
to get
right.
Saturn out instead. Like what if
Yeah.
Kizaru or someone dies? Not that Kizaru is
Or
necessarily
Bonnie.
a young man. If Bonnie dies, I'm going to find Eiichiro Oda and I'm going to kill him with my bare hands. There's no way they kill Bonnie. Surely not. That'd be
Surely not.
ridiculous. I would be devastated. She
I
is
would
12.
she is 12 years
She is
old.
12. Let her see her dad, please, Oda.
Please God.
But that's a really interesting thought that I had not at all had.
Hmm.
That's a really
Yeah.
interesting catch. I like that a lot. Um, old man on a boat. Interesting.
And I
Very
think
interesting.
that is going to be like I think that is going to be a line that we're going to come back to a lot.
Like
I think that
retroactively
is
is going to make a lot of sense.
right. Like it feels very like like it's relevant to what we're talking about now, but it also feels like foreshadowing
Yeah.
for like way later in the story of like Emu is probably an old man trying to get on a boat.
And somebody's got to save the world and the future of the world instead of
Mm-hmm.
keeping that old man alive. And it was a lesson taught to Kobe, and so Kobe has to give that lesson to Luffy by joining the crew, and it all makes sense. It all makes
It's all
sense.
coming together.
It's all coming together, baby. I love Kobe. Speaking of Kobe, my goat
Yes.
Kobe
Yes, speaking of Kobe.
My goat Kobe, who has spent, I guess, the last 2 years training with Garp
Mm-hmm.
and doing the exact same training by himself that he used to do with Kuzan.
Right.
I just got Kobe is such a shonen protagonist stuck as a minor
Right?
character in this story. It's
I,
so
I
interesting.
just want to see Kobe's side story so bad.
Like he has less natural talent. He needs to put in 10 times the effort, 100, 200. Punches his fists bloody against the battleships. And then he jumps up without thinking, no hesitation, just like Garp had taught him over and over and over again.
Mhm.
He has to destroy it to protect the people. And so he drops the fucking honesty impact on this island sized hand and
Yup.
blows it to fucking smithereens.
Oh man.
That is my guy, bro.
Look at how tiny he is in this panel, dude.
Exactly. He is miniature. He's
And
punching
I love
he's punching a mountain like Garp would
yeah,
do.
exactly. It's
And
it's
I absolutely love it. I'm so excited to see the
I do want to
inevitable interactions with Kobe
uh,
and Luffy again.
I do want to say it's not just Kobe who gets a who's important here. I think that all of these new Marines all do their part
That's true. Glorp
to make
Glorp
this
Man
work.
does come in clutch.
Yeah. Uh, and I think that they are going to be more interesting characters in the future. But
Yeah.
I mean, this is Kobe's moment, man.
This is Kobe's moment. This is my
The
boy.
honesty, impact.
The Honesty Impact, which you could maybe say is a lame name, but I disagree. That's my
I
guy.
disagree.
He's laying his heart out into this punch,
Mm-hmm.
and he's an honest man. And I have one last note I want to mention on Kobe before we move on past this section, which is something that has been true for Kobe for a while, but is something that I only really started thinking about now with the context of all of Garp's sons all leaving the Marines and seeing something. And it's that
Yeah.
Kobe doesn't wear his glasses,
Huh.
which to me reads as a visual metaphor for something. Either
Right.
that he is it's one of two. It's either he is blinding himself to the truth of something or he is seeing to the truth of something. It's a question of whether or not wearing the
Uh-huh.
glasses is a metaphor for clouding his vision. I think that's probably that he is seeing the truth of something because going
Mm-hmm.
from being locked and shackled by Alvida wearing the glasses to taking them off when he's free and protecting people and doing the thing that he wants to do and chasing his dream.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what is it that Kobe has to remove his glasses to
to
see?
to give the opposite perspective, when he was wearing his glasses was when he was a pirate,
That's
or at
true.
least on a
When
pirate
he
ship.
met Luffy as well.
Yeah. And now as a Marine, he's taking them off.
To blind himself from what has to be done to be a Marine, maybe. Interesting
Just to
thoughts.
give both perspectives.
I think that there is something to the visual metaphor of him having his glasses off, and I think it will tie into maybe whatever it is that brings Kobe to step away from the Marines. I don't think permanently. I think Kobe will probably end the story as a higher up Marine.
Yeah.
I think he might follow in Garp's footsteps of like turning in Luffy after Luffy has achieved Pirate King in a
Mm-hmm.
similar way of like Roger turning himself in and then all the stuff that happens with Roger. I think could be a similar
Yeah.
case with Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we can finally move ourselves back to actual Egghead.
Mm-hmm.
As we rapidly approach the most heartbreaking story ever. We get some of the aftermath. Yeah, this is when we get what actually happened to Lelouja. Is right here at the
Yeah.
start. Um, there was no trace of the land anymore. Just an enormous hole in the sea that waterfalls pour into. There is no sign of the hole filling up. The earthquake caused the
So
worldwide sea level to rise about 1 meter. Hey Oda, what the fuck?
Um, so we have two holes now.
Yeah, two holes.
This is
Uh,
this is not like a this is not like some weird phenomenon on the Grand Line, weird weather or
yeah, it's not
something
just the Grand
that
Line
just
being weird.
happened at Eni's lobby. These holes are made.
Yeah, and presumably the spot where whatever came through the sky that hit Lelusia, presumably that part of the clouds is clear sky too.
So what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What does the Mother Flame or Uranus? What does it do to these places?
And how? Like, what is it possibly doing
And
that's
it's and
causing
it's and
the
it's not just that the clouds stay parted at all times at Eni's lobby. It is daytime perpetually,
yeah perpetually
as if
daytime?
like
The water never
frozen in
fills in.
time.
Exactly. It's super weird.
I have
Oh my god, what is it?
no I have no concrete ideas.
I
I
have
have
I have
some
no ideas.
fucking I have some oddball ideas of like what if it's like sending shit, what if it is actually freezing something in time? Like it is I don't know.
But like
That's
even
I,
then, the water is still water falling into these holes.
I just
I don't
ugh.
know. It's very confusing. I don't know what they could possibly be doing that's stopping the water from going and filling up again.
And
Perpetual
it's
daytime. It's just all super weird.
we had in the last section Vegapunk talking about how like different realities and different dimensions are linked to the devil fruits. What if it's like is just like transporting shit to a different dimension or is like making a portal? I mean, I don't know. I'm spitball.
I don't know, man. I mean, the truth of the matter is that it could literally be anything.
Yeah.
One Piece is a world and a series where things that are not explainable can happen, and Emu is nothing if not explainable at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really interesting and really, I don't know. It's concerning because like, and it once again begs the question: why are they not doing this to Egghead? Why are they just Buster calling Egghead?
Yeah.
And like, because like they still like when they Buster call
And but
something,
okay,
they
but
erase it from history still.
but when Emu was asked why Leluja, they said
They said
because
it's
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 close.
close.
So
It's
what
just
if
so
it is like a
strange.
ship that they have to physically move there and it takes a long time?
That's what that's kind of my thought.
Hmm.
It's so interesting. It's so.
I hate not knowing the
Oh,
answers to these
I hate
questions.
not. Yeah, what's it like? What's it like? For once, we're both asking the questions, and you're not pretending to ask the questions with me.
Hmm.
It's a nice feeling. Um, so we just sort of are moving back in. Um, I
Hmm.
I really love this shot of the whole
Me too.
crew. I in fact I think there's a world where you could say it's kind of anticlimactic. We just kind of skip to them having caught York and defeated the
But
Seraphim, but I think it
like
actually works really well.
I think it works really well because like, is it really that interesting to watch the Straw Hat Pirates who we've seen take down Kaido and Big Mom and their crews, try to find some Vegapunk clone and to like
Right.
subdue Rob Lucci again?
Like I think the interesting part of the murder mystery had played out, and so just
Right.
skipping
We
to the
figured
end
out
of
who
it is
done it,
funny.
and now we're done.
And I think it's fun that it leads. It's just a nice gag, I think,
Yeah.
of leading in, making you think that York has been successful, and then someone please come save me as all the Straw Hats are wrapping around.
Hmm.
Usopp is jamming the call. It's just fun.
Hmm.
Sanji's in the back serving food to all the ladies
Right. Yeah.
while
Rob
they're
Lucci and Kaku are just chilling.
you're just chilling. Vegapunk's got his little backpack. I just think it's fun.
He's right. He's ready to go.
I just think it's fun. I really dig it. Um, And I just, God, I love the crew. You know, I mean,
Me too,
it's
dude.
maybe it's stupid to say it, but I love the crew. Also, shout outs to Kudo, the Black Cat Kudo mentioned on chapter
True, in
1090.
a cover page,
Chapter
not
10,
an actual cover story, but like a read request.
yeah, him mentioned. I also love this gag. It's a repeated gag. This has happened many times of Luffy just grabbing the
Grabbing the
phone
mic, grabbing
and
the
going,
phone.
"Hello, this is Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's gonna be king of the pirates."
It's so
Um,
good. He
and
did it to Dopey. He's done it to Big Mom.
he did it in Marineford too.
Yeah,
I
and now
just
he's doing it to the
the
elders.
elders. It's funny every time. And I love that, like, he starts answering their questions, and who's up is like, Luffy, shut up, stop, take the phone, somebody take the phone away from Luffy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
Also, surely it must be that the Vegapunks can exist outside of the Stella, because York's plan was to kill everyone else.
Yeah, was to kill Vegapunk, and they want to keep
So
the
so
Vega records
I'm
safe.
marking this down as an official prediction. I think who do I think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be Lilith,
I think
because
Lilith makes sense.
I think Lilith is gonna join the Straw Hats. No,
That
I
definitely
think
not.
Lilith is going to leave the island with the Straw Hats though.
If Lilith joins the Straw Hats and not Yamato or Vivi, I'm gonna find Eiichiro Oda and kill him.
I'm gonna kill Ichiro Oda with a hammer.
um, yeah, I just love seeing the crew all together. It's so
Yeah, and
nice.
watching them all like watching Bonnie and Luffy pig out. We'll get back to this. Bonnie is so Luffy coded.
She is absurdly Luffy coded, and I said this back when she was first introduced in Saba
Hmm.
Oni. Literally,
And
the one scene of her, I was like, "This is Monkey D. Luffy."
so we've not made it a secret that we've been watching the Mom Piece stuff, and I think I know because Drock had at one point said there's a person who I think Luffy is going to give the hat to at the end of the story, but I can't tell you yet. I think it's Bonnie.
I think that's definitely possible.
I think Luffy gives the straw hat to Bonnie at the end.
I think that's very possible. I like that idea. I need to do more thinking on that, but it's certainly
Yeah.
possible. But I just really love these small panels of the crew interacting.
Hmm. Yeah.
I just think it's fun. I especially like that the whole time Lucci is just like chilling in the background.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun.
Also, what did they do to Kaku, bro?
What did they
Kaku's
fucked Kaku
bedridden.
up. Kaku got fucked up by the Seraphim. Um
Also, Lucci being a fucking rat.
Lucci being a rat. I mean, we knew he was a rat.
Yeah.
Also, it's still very interesting that these Seraphim hold some more of their personalities, including the fact that Hancock is like obsessed with Luffy.
Yeah. So now we have a weird age gap in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, obviously, like Luffy doesn't understand because
Yeah.
he's stupid.
Luffy's asexual.
Luffy's asexual and also dumb. It's
Yeah.
the perfect combo, really, for him.
Hmm. And
But
so,
it's
but
just so
he's so interesting
strange.
that like I don't know. It begs the question of like how much of the personality is actually extracted from the bloodline element.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean, it begs questions about a lot of things. Like it raises questions
Yeah.
about the Vinsmoke brothers to me.
Yeah.
Like, are they influenced at all by? Because presumably, I mean, I agree with you under the assumption that maybe they all four of them have like some bloodline elements of some race, and like Sanji maybe
Yeah.
has like parts of Seraphim stuff, and that's why he can turn himself on fire. Does he
Hmm.
have some influence of whatever Seraphim DNA or not Seraphim
Bloodline element,
bloodline element
cloning
from
thing.
the cloning thing? It's like why is I don't know, it's interesting. It's very strange.
Hmm.
It raises
Yeah.
questions about how human um Judge's
Does
clones are.
yeah, really.
His clone are like how human are they? Are they really like mindless empty doll clones, or are they more like a Xenoblade 3 clone like I said, and they really are
Hmm.
like living thinking people that are
Yeah.
just like I don't know, it's really fucky and really weird, and I'm super fascinated with it. And I hope we get more details on like how it works and like how it sort of cascades. And I think with the Seraphims being a perpetual threat, I think it will be the case.
I also just had another thought.
Hmm.
Just based off of the visual look of the Vinsmoke clones, because they seem to be doing like a sort of uh like Boba Fett sort of like Star Wars clone thing where like they
Right.
found some guy who's sick and they keep cloning him. All of the clones are like super built, and this is just sometimes how Oda draws people. But they're all kind of built a little bit like Kuma, aren't they?
I mean, but would he have had access to that kind of tech?
I don't know.
Because he didn't. I mean, he was already. They were
But
already out of the group by the time
but
Akuma mechs were being made, right?
uh Derma 66 was a world government aligned nation.
That's true.
What if they all have like some Buccaneer DNA?
That's certainly possible. Whatever
I don't know.
Buccaneer
It's just,
DNA is, we don't really know.
yeah, we don't really know. They're just like big and strong and have like strong wills maybe. But
Yeah. And
I don't know.
maybe have
I
some
just
giant blood
wanted
in them. It's all very,
just
very
thinking
interesting.
about like visually how those guys look, they kind of look a little bit like in like body shape.
Yeah. So then we move into what is mostly a lot of fighting for a little bit.
I don't want to talk too much about it. I just want to give the smallest little props to Sentamaru. That guy's holding it fucking down.
I
His
like. I
his
can't believe he's alive. Really.
he seems so outclassed. Like
And
we knew
he
that
is. I mean,
Sentamaru
he's.
is like a strong hockey user back in Sabaody. Like we saw him able to use advanced armament hockey. But like this guy is so unbelievably outclassed, outmatched, and outgunned in this fight, and he is still holding his own and holding
Yeah.
it down.
Like fighting his like surrogate father figure Kizuru, who is like magnitude stronger because of the light fruit, while also having like just been impaled through the chest by Rob Lucci like an
Hmm.
hour ago, maybe,
Yeah,
while also protecting people. Like he's putting the work in, even if I mean, he
exactly.
loses, obviously, but like
Yeah,
you gotta give
because
him
he's
some
just
credit.
big axe guy.
And I wish I had more
Exactly.
to say about Sentamaru because I feel like
I hope we get a little bit more about him towards the end of this arc.
maybe
And
my
I feel
thoughts
like
is
we
that
will.
maybe he is just like one of those like smaller characters that some
Yeah.
people fall in love with, and I just don't
Hmm.
have anything to say about him really.
Hmm.
Uh, but unfortunately, Rob Lucci gets away.
Yeah. It
Um,
does. I just saw Stussy again in her whatever. Do we get the name of her fruit? Do we know what she is yet?
no, we don't know. Or at least we don't
Okay.
know. Maybe the larger community knows, but not the two of us at the moment.
Um,
Um,
I saw someone say this is the second time, or Stussy has twice now in the story drank giraffe because she drank Kaku's blood, and then at the party, the Big Mom's party smoothie had squeezed giraffe
that
into a
is
smoothie.
true.
I don't know why. I just wanted to mention that because it's funny to me.
Yeah. Then we briefly
And then we
cut to
have
Kuma, who is
Kuma,
at Marihua being
who is
chained down, and it
fucking shit
seems
up
that
at Mariwa.
fucking shit up at Marihua, but he's still moving forward.
Yeah.
And to the people at Marihua, it seems like he's here to fight them. And then he has a clash with
Hmm.
Akainu, who
Yeah.
does get a serious hit. He like takes out like a whole chunk of Kuma's face,
Yeah.
and he just runs past him, and he
And
paws away again.
hmm what's
Very
going on with
interesting.
Kuma,
Well,
man?
I don't. Well, I guess we don't know this part about what's up with Kuma. We don't know how he's doing this. We do know a lot about what's up with Kuma now after a while.
Hmm.
Um, and we get a really cool fight between Luffy and Kizaru that I think is
Yeah.
really, really great action. Um,
Hmm.
what else? I mean, I
I
don't know. I
like
don't have a lot of innovative things to say about how cool Oda's
no.
action has
Yeah.
been.
It's just really cool. It's always it's it's been great the whole time, and it has gotten better the whole time.
Yeah. Um, I just really dig it.
hmm I like the little interactions between like Kizaru and Frankie, of him being like, "Hey, that's my move."
Hey, why are you stealing my radical beat move? um, and I love that we keep getting more new weird things from Gear 5. I
hmm
think the fact that Oda has not like because it doesn't make sense for Luffy to do the same one thing in Gear 5 over and over again.
Right? Yeah.
Because why would Luffy ever do that? That's not who Luffy is, right?
hmm
So now that he
Yeah.
has this power to do whatever he wants, that each fight he brings it out, he does some new crazy bullshit.
hmm
I really dig. And I
Also,
want to
the Iron Giant is waking up, by the
yeah, I
way.
want to briefly mention the Chekhov's gun that giant is waking up, and that we have not seen it since.
Um,
It's there.
is it waking up because Luffy has gone Gear 5?
That's possible.
Does that have something to do with it?
It's certainly possible. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons it could be waking up, and we don't know.
Yep.
Um, and I really love I Kizaru's like way of dealing with Gear 5. I like the way that he interacts
hmm
with it is so different from Kaido.
Right. Yeah.
And I like that it still falls into like a this sort of slapstick Toon Force comedy like archetype. Like Kaido is more of like a I don't know, like a Tom and Jerry character getting
Yeah.
beaten up by Luffy, whereas, Kizaru gets to be more of this like he's almost playing the straight man to Luffy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Where he's getting spun around and he's like, well now, let's not get carried away. And then he gets
Yeah.
tossed. And I think
Yeah.
it's really funny that he's leaning into like different kinds of cartoon humor for the different villains that
hmm
Luffy fights in Gear 5. Gear
Yeah.
5 is just so incredible. I don't know what to say
It's so
about it.
good. I love it.
It's just so great. Um and
Is
to
there
fucking
anything
I forgot that
super?
Sensoriu gets back up again to
He keeps getting
protect
back up.
to
He's just
protect
like Luffy,
Bonnie.
bro.
And we also have this has not been
Talking about how
resolved yet.
Bonnie's just like Luffy. Sentomaru is Luffy too.
He's just like
He never
Luffy.
get, he keeps getting back up.
And we also have Zoro dueling Lucci, which is really cool.
hmm
I think it's cool to have Zoro fighting a person who used to be a threat that
Yeah,
Luffy
like
had
a
to take
previous
on.
arc, and like a previous arc boss.
Yeah, having like dueling Zoro, and I like that he is more confident that he can beat Zoro, and Zoro's like, yeah, right. You can't even beat me. Good luck with Luffy.
Yeah,
But this has not been resolved, so who knows? Maybe Zoro gets his ass kicked or something. We don't know yet. I
maybe.
don't think he will. I imagine Zoro will beat Lucci, or at least get away from him.
Yeah, I, I
Um,
I love the way that Oda draws Kizaru's powers,
are so cool, and he gets really
and it's
creative with his powers in this section
yeah,
too. Like making the copies of himself is just
hmm
super
and
cool.
especially how like whenever Kizaru is like activating an attack, the colors get a little brighter and like maybe almost washed out because he's using light powers.
Yeah, it's just really awesome the way that he's able to do it.
And the backgrounds start to like be less detailed and start disappearing because
It's just so bright is really
it's
really
so
cool.
bright. Yeah,
It's like such an unnecessary touch to make Kizaru like to
exactly.
really sell Kizaru's powers, and it's a
hmm
difficult thing to do without color. I
Right.
think
In black and white.
like the color manga obviously does a great job with it too, but
hmm
it's really impressive seeing the way that they do it in black and white.
Yeah.
I also like that. I think it's funny that Kizaru is not just like instantly killing the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, where did
But, like,
Vegapunk go?
and then but we
Well,
see Kizaru is also so interesting as an admiral
he really is, because he's like,
because we see him back in the I mean we'll get to this, but like in the flashback, like he's buddies with Vegapunk. Like he doesn't like
want to do
he wasn't
this.
about like he didn't get like joy or feel like pride in what they did to Kuma. Like he was also like seemingly like disturbed by it,
Exactly.
and it feels like he's having his Fuzon Saul moment here, where like he's being sent here to kill Vegapunk.
Yeah. And I think it's to me it's interesting that Kuzan or not Kuzan, sorry, Kizaru, uh it is in a way is very different from Akainu in this way is that he's like
Mhm.
he is just here to do the job.
Yeah, like
Like
he's clocked into a 9 to
if
5.
he was not here just to do the job, he would be killing Brook and Usopp and Nami. while Luffy is not caught up yet. And instead, he's like, now where did Vegapunk go? You guys tell me where he is, and I'm gone. Because he's trying to get, like, all he wants to do is get the job done so that he doesn't have to bring more harm to Vegapunk's world.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really interesting. And how, because, like, if Akainu was here, he would just be killing everybody. Because
Yeah,
he's
he would be
a piece of shit.
dropping red dogs and just flooding Egghead with magma.
And I really love that Vegapunk is willing to risk his own life to go save Bonnie.
Absolutely.
It is very much so, sort of tying to what you were talking about with the old man on the boat, and that Vegapunk is willing to not go get on the boat because he needs to go save the child who is the future of the world.
Yeah.
And then we just keep moving. We gotta blitz to get
we're
there.
still not even into the Kuma backstory.
Story, which is where it's really gonna get tough. I don't have a lot to say about this action other than that it's cool. I like seeing Bonnie's powers. Shoutouts to the ride fruit.
Yeah.
It's like the jacket fruit if it was maybe better. I don't know. At least you don't have to.
I was trying to explain to some of my friends the other night what the jacket fruit was, and they were like, "Wait, so like it's a possession thing?" I was like, "No. I mean, yes, but no. It's really bad."
I mean, he possesses you if you wear him as a jacket, but you don't.
Right.
You can't be forced to put the jacket on.
Exactly. Maybe that's what the awakened jacket fruit does. Is he becomes like a super cool looking jacket, and so it makes people want to wear it.
It makes people want to wear him. Anyways, Saint J. Garcia
Magic
appears
circles.
out of a fucking magic circle. What do you mean?
What do you?
What do you mean a magic pentagram? Huh?
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 Hey, stop saying, huh?
Hey, Oda, what the fuck? I don't like. What do you mean they have magic?
Yeah. Is this devil fruit
is
magic,
this
or
devil
is this
fruit
other magic
bullshit, or is this magic? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It, to me, it does not feel like a devil fruit.
Right.
That is a magic
unless
pentagram.
Like intrinsically tied to whatever the fuck Saturn's devil fruit is. But like, I don't know.
But like, there are the magic circles in the Elder Room, you know, and it's like, what the fuck is all this? What do you mean they have magic circles? Does it have something to do with how old they are? Is this how they beat a society that was 1400 years in the future advanced? Is they blew them up with pentagram dark magic bullshit? I don't know.
Magic nuke. That's what Uranus is. Magic nuke.
Magic nuke. I mean, it could be. It could literally be a magic nuke. And he appears out of the circle, and he's this weird Spider-Man.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
I want pictures of Spider-Man on my desk right now. Specifically, what kind of Spider-Man is this?
Yeah, you don't get his devil fruit name.
And once again, it's interesting that he, like Rob Lucci and Kaku, is drawn with the black Hagoromo awakened thing.
Seemingly, it seems like there's two different ways to awaken, or like
to truly awaken, as opposed to like the white of Luffy and Yamato. Something.
Like, it is very clear that there's something different about Rob Lucci, Kaku, and
especially Jay Garcia Saturn.
Yeah.
And like, how much of this shit that he's doing is the devil fruit? How much of it is magic? How much of it is something else? Like, he looks at a guy and their head explodes.
Yeah.
At a Marine who was not supposed to be here. And then later,
some corrupted alternative to like Conqueror's Haki.
It could be. I mean, and later he causes the Straw Hats to freeze still.
Yeah.
And is that the devil fruit? Is it Haki? What is it, man? Like, I don't know. It's freaky. I have no idea. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we get an awesome set of panels of Luffy doing the Gum Star Gun.
Mm-hmm.
That I really love. I love this.
Just, puts a fist through Kizaru's head.
Literally.
Literally.
I'm seeing stars is so funny. And I
And
love
this
that
takes Kizaru out for a while.
I mean, this is taking Kizaru out for as long as we've read up to.
Yeah.
Like, he's out of commission. Or I guess until right where this section ends.
Mm-hmm.
But Luffy runs out of gas. I also love that immediately Garcia's like, oh shit, it's Nika.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's Nika.
Which, like, so he must be old as fuck to recognize Nika.
Because the fruit hasn't awakened in over 800 years, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess maybe they've seen the drawings at best.
But
I don't know.
that read to me as he is like recollecting or like
Like, recollecting
remembering what Nika,
seeing the Nika.
the Nika.
Ugh, it's just so much
Uh,
shit, man. It's just so much shit. Ugh.
are we at the backstory
We
yet?
are very close, I think. But Bonnie goes in to take out Saint Garcia. It
Yeah.
does not work. Sanji tries to jump in to help her,
Let
and he gets
let's go, Sanji.
frozen.
Oh
And
no,
then
Sanji.
and then Jay Garcia pulls the sword out of his chest, and it heals,
Yeah.
or at least the blood vanishes.
What is?
What is he? What is this thing? Is it is that the devil fruit, or is that the magic circle? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. And how long is Luffy out of commission with Gear 5 now? I guess we don't know, right?
Yeah, we don't know like what the timer on it is.
Because against Kaido, he went old and then he immediately kind of got back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Frankie protecting Luffy here. I love
Yeah.
getting to see more of Frankie doing stuff. I'm really, really hoping that, especially with where this cliff hangs, that we're gonna get a little, at least something out of Frankie that's a little more substantial than otherwise. But I think obviously this arc is not Frankie's arc. This
Yeah.
arc is very clearly Kuma's arc and Bonnie's arc. And I think this is more about world building and their story than it is about Frankie.
Right.
But hopefully Frankie will get his time to shine. But I'm thinking
Let's
that
just
maybe this little last section, as well as Frankie being able to save Luffy, is working us towards the Frankie
Mhm.
moment. Whenever Frankie's moment is going to be, I really hope it's going to happen soon.
Yeah. But
We just gotta keep moving forward a little
we
bit.
gotta move along.
Okay,
We're here.
we made it. Because
If you didn't leave earlier because of the trauma of Kuma's backstory, here is your final warning.
here's your final warning, because
But
I'm
like, don't
getting
leave
ready
the
to
video.
cry.
Just like put it out in a different tab and give us the watch time, please.
Yeah, turn the volume down a little bit, and then maybe it won't be as sad. Trust me.
Yeah.
Um, and so we have this interaction between Bonnie of like, you killed my father, and he doesn't think of Kuma as a person or any of these
No.
people.
No,
He
he thinks of
consistently
everyone as insects.
he consistently refers to them as insects, which is really interesting as a
Mhm.
language, I think. The last
Yeah.
survivor of the extinct buccaneer people.
Mhm.
Bonnie, ever since I was a boy, I wanted to be a hero who could save the imprisoned and suffering. Just like Nika, the warrior of liberation. What the fuck,
Yeah.
bro? Will he come and free
Well,
me too? Of course. It's only a matter of time until Luffy can get back up and save her.
Yeah.
Please. Please, Luffy. Anyways, time for backstory, right? Holy
This shit
shit.
is fucked up.
This thing is fucked up and rough, and we're gonna talk about it for a while, I think.
Yeah. It's
Um,
seeing the actual like we've gotten like allusions to like the cruelty and stuff that the celestial dragons do to slaves. It is front and center here,
yeah,
and it is brutal.
it is brutal. 47 years ago in the Sorbet Kingdom, Kuma is born, and they are enslaved because they're buccaneers, including his mother,
Yeah.
who is not a buccaneer. And we don't even know what the buccaneers are, other than they're strong.
Yeah.
My initial assumption was that maybe they were the people from 800 years ago, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense. Maybe they were. I mean, obviously they were probably around 800 years ago,
Mhm.
but I don't think. I feel like if they were the people from 800 years ago, maybe Buccaneer would start with a D.
Yeah.
But we just see Kuma's suffering, and he finally gets to see his dad after a while. And he sits down. Your mother's dead, son.
Mm.
Ugh, she's in heaven, but I think she's better off that way. Is just so
Mm.
heartbreaking. And God, fuck the panels, man.
Yeah.
And like his father telling Kuma that it's okay, we just have to be strong. The warrior of liberation is going to come and save us. And while he's telling Kuma all this, he gets shot and killed by one of the celestial dragons.
Yeah.
And we don't even get the aftermath of that.
No,
And
no. We
it's
just see
brutal.
we don't even see Kuma's reaction to his father being shot in front of him.
For doing literally nothing?
Or talking about Nika?
Maybe not
Or just
even that.
talking in
Just
general.
talking in general,
Because it just
probably.
says the Celestial Dragon just has pipe down.
Yeah, pipe down, being too loud. And
But then
then
we
we
cut immediately from
lead
that
to
to
the
the
God
God
Valley
Valley
incident.
incident.
Um,
I hope I didn't peek my mic there. It got
you
really loud.
it's you probably did, but it don't won't peak on my end, so it's good.
Okay, okay.
And so we learn that the Celestial Dragons have this great sport, the native hunting competition,
Uh-huh.
in which the Celestial Dragons all go to an island, kill all the native people for a game because they want the resources, and then they award the people who did the best a prize.
Yeah.
God, he looks just like fucking Shanks, bro.
If you just cover up the hair with your thumb on your screen, I know they can't because they're not looking at it, but it's
Look at the
just Shanks,
chapter.
man.
It's just Shanks, which is crazy. Imagine if this was revealed before the thing,
Right?
without the pamphlet. Imagine people going,
Mm-hmm.
"Is this fucking guy related to Shanks?" And then we get introduced to two slave friends for Kuma, Emporio
Yeah.
Ivankov, and maybe literal sister, maybe just like blood brothers kind of thing.
I think that I believe that they're actually siblings.
I assume so. And Ivankov's sister, Ginny, or Guinea. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's pronounced.
I
So it
think
turns
Ginny.
out
Ginny sounds better.
Iva does not just hate the world government because he's queer. He also was a slave. So
Yeah.
um, but it's lovely to see that even when he was a slave, he was still full of whimsy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can keep this man down,
Yeah.
especially with one of the first things that comes out of Iva's mouth in this section is "I choose life." What about you? So
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me that the Celestial Dragons just have a sport where they bring a bunch of slaves to an island and then kill all the
Yeah.
natives and also the slaves they brought for fun.
Mm-hmm. Because they also say that they want God Valley for its natural resources.
Yeah. Um, and I want to bring up a line here. There's one line in particular as we start the God Valley incident from
Mm-hmm.
some random guy that's not named and is immediately killed. He says, "You can't do this. It's unconscionable. Wake me up from this nightmare. Human beings shouldn't treat other humans as toys."
Ooh.
Um, and this is a line that has really stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
For one, there's the obvious parallels with Dressrosa,
Yeah.
especially considering that whole thing with the toys was enacted by a former celestial dragon
Right. Really, really
who,
selling that Dofi recreated Dressrosa to be like the world. It's the world at large in miniature.
yeah, the world at large in miniature. Um, but especially, and this was in the live read, and is the immediate first thought that came to my mind was Xenoblade, actually.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna try and dance around this as best I can because I don't want to spoil Xenoblade because I love it too much to spoil it.
Yeah.
But
And also where we have Xenoblade related plans.
we have Xenoblade related plans, so I definitely don't want to spoil it. But I am willing to at least mention some of this because I think this is information that the Xenoblade fans at large had going into the game from the trailers. So I want to at least make some connections to this. I can't go into full detail because I'm not going to spoil anything. But in Xenoblade 3, the major antagonists, which I have mentioned before when talking about Vince Smoke Judge, are the Mobius.
Yeah.
And before I had talked about the Mobius because they make the clones. But part of the reason they make the clones in Xenoblade 3 is that they basically turn them all into child soldiers and they make them fight each other and kill each other, and then they use that life energy as a resource.
Interesting.
And to me, and part of the reason this comes to mind is there is a line that's, I believe, in one of the trailers that happens at a point in the story that I'm not going to say any other details about from one of the two main characters from Xenoblade 3 when they're fighting a certain set of Mobius. And she says, quote, "Stop toying with everyone's lives. We're not just some things you can play with," is the line that she says, I believe is the quote. And immediately that line popped into my head here of like the Celestial Dragons created this world where they get to prey on and feed off of anyone's life and resources that they want because they can and they will. And the people caught in the crossfires, these slaves, these children, these like child soldiers, these regular people who were forced out of their normal world and into this violent world that the powers that be have created are toys to these people's playthings. And then when you think about, to me, I start thinking of like, and this is from the creator of Xenoblade 3, so if you don't want to be in the apolitical One Piece corner, you can leave. Is that like a lot of the Mobius stuff is allusions to capitalism and to like corporations and the way that they churn through people. And I mean, it's obvious that sort of the Celestial Dragons are doing the same thing, but I am seeing the connections there, and all of it sort of pieces together in the way that like this infinite growth that the Celestial Dragons see for themselves comes at the cost of literally wiping out an entire nation's people.
Yeah.
Using them as mere toys in their toy box, their sandbox, their playground.
Simply because they want the resources.
And it's really disgusting. And I love it narratively, and it breaks my heart. Anyways, the God Valley incident occurs, right?
The goddamn God Valley incident.
So we learn that the incident was sort of triggered by the prize for this game is the Azure Dragon Fruit that Kaido has and the Pawpaw Fruit that Kuma has, and that they were stolen from Fullalead by the Celestial Dragons.
Yeah.
And so the Rocks Pirates are here to kick their asses and get the fruits back. The slaves, led by Iva, have planned to go steal them and use them to escape.
Yeah.
And then Roger is on his way here for some reason. We don't really know, do we?
Probably. Maybe for the fruits. Maybe for the Rocks Pirates.
Maybe my assumption is he's here to kick the Rock Pirates' ass for fun. But then what? I mean, we don't get to find out. But what leads?
We see that Ginny is the one who like sends out the distress call and like lets people know that this is even happening.
Yeah, and that results in the God Valley incident occurring. It results in the Rocks Pirates and the Roger Pirates showing up. But we don't know what leads Roger to work alongside Garp.
Yeah.
In this, what leads to him finding Shanks? It's all just so crazy. My assumption, by the way, with Shanks is that Fegerland has brought Shanks with him here.
Yeah, to like show him what, or just to like show his kid
that he's the goat, or the fun of killing natives, right? And he's obviously left his child alone because he's off killing natives. And so Shanks just ends up wandering around into a chest, is my assumption. And that somehow somehow Roger finds him and takes him in. I don't know. It's very strange. And just God, Kuma is so fucking wonderful. He is the sweetest, most kind person in existence.
Yeah.
The way that he's like, I can go be a decoy because if they kill me, then you guys don't get hurt.
Hmm.
And he's just so he's too sweet, man.
Yeah.
But we get some really cool action with the the Rocks Pirates and the Roger Pirates and Garp and
Hmm.
everybody going into action. Iva is like this close to eating the Azure Dragon Fruit, which is crazy.
Oh, it would have been
It
crazy.
would have been crazy. Unfortunately, Big Mom gets in the way.
Yeah.
And there's old Saint Jane Garcia.
Hmm.
But Kuma is able
Still
to get the
old.
fruit.
Still has a scar.
Yeah, still has the scar. Still old. It doesn't make sense that you're born important, and there's no reason for someone to be born a slave. If I've got some kind of power, then I want to be like Nika and save as many of these unfortunate people as I possibly can.
Hmm.
And my assumption is that this line is the quote unquote like rebellion against the world government that let them torture him for his entire life.
Yeah.
That or it's just him existing. But I think it's interesting because
Hmm.
a lot of what we see moving forward is basically Saint J. Garcia fucking up Kuma's life because he can.
Yeah, for the fun of it.
It's not even like the other elders or the elders collectively. It's specifically Saint J. Garcia deciding that he
Hmm.
wants to fuck with Kuma forever.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing that Kuma can do about it.
Right.
Um,
And then we just cut away from the God
we
Valley
cut away
incident.
from the God Valley incident. You don't
Don't
care. Who
see
needs to see
the rest
that?
of it.
And we get a great line from Iva where he says that Kuma has the hands of liberation that set people free. And also, I guess this was sort of implied from the last couple chapters. The basic confirmation that the god that Kuma prays to and that is presumably in his Bible is Nika,
Yeah.
which makes Luffy into somewhat of a Jesus allegory,
Hmm.
especially considering that he died and was resurrected as Nika.
True.
I don't know how I necessarily feel about a Jesus allegory with Luffy. I feel like it's a strange connection to me, but maybe not. I don't know. I just feel like making a like the savior image out of Luffy is interesting
Yeah.
because obviously he is a liberator and he has been a liberator.
Of course. Yeah. But it feels it's
Something. I mean,
I don't know.
maybe I
Maybe
need
maybe
maybe I need to
maybe
think
that's
more on
maybe
it,
that's
but
us reading into it more than or having different, like cultural reasons for
yeah,
feeling
like
weird about that.
it could just be that like it's the thing that pops up a lot in Asian media where it's like, man, this Christian mythology stuff is cool as hell.
Right, yeah.
Like which sometimes happens, but I don't know. I don't feel
How
like Oda
how
is
how we are
that.
how I mean kind of how we are in the West with like Greek mythology.
Yeah, I don't know if Oda is would use it that simply though, cuz I don't think he's ever used anything that simply.
Yeah.
Um I think there's something to like Luffy being a person who will save anyone if they choose to save themselves. I think is an interesting sort of parallel with a Jesus
Mhm.
imagery, but I feel like a lot of times a Jesus figure is very different than the kind of character that Luffy is, and perhaps that's Oda being an interesting writer and not putting Luffy in a
Yeah.
box, and doing
Yeah.
something interesting with an allusion
That archetype.
to that archetype of character. But I don't know. I need to do more. I haven't done a lot of thinking on that. I've been
Yeah.
thinking more about Kuma for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
But it's so sweet that God, him and Ginny eating food together and being full for probably the first time.
And
Uh,
just weeping
just
because
weeping.
they again because food is so goddamn important
So
to this
vitally
story.
important to this story. And so
And
we
then we see
move.
Kuma. Kuma grown up.
Move
He's
further into the
17
future,
now.
Kuma age 17, and he is a priest in Sorbet Kingdom who's removing the pain from people
Hmm.
and
And
doing
then,
what Zoro did once every Sunday for
yeah.
these people, taking on their pain for them over and over and over again because he doesn't want them to suffer.
Specifically, specifically because these old people need to be able to work to pay heavenly tribute to the world government.
Yeah. And they can't work if they have their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so he takes it for them, and Ginny cares for him, and it's just so ah.
Uh,
And I also love that, this Kumo reveals that if the pain is not taken by someone else, then it eventually goes back to the original person, which I think is an
right.
interesting way of like the thing with Zoro really was a test
Uh-huh.
because presumably Kuma did not watch Zoro take on the rest of it, right? Like all of it,
Yeah,
because he wasn't
presumably not.
around.
Right.
But if Zoro hadn't done it, it would have just gone back to Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just And then this to me is maybe possibly the most heartbreaking part. I think, and this is maybe a hot take because there's a lot of heartbreaking parts, and I don't know if I really believe this.
Yeah.
But Ginny wants to marry Kuma, and
Yeah.
he thinks back to his father and his mother who was turned into a slave and killed for no reason simply because she married his father,
Uh-huh.
and he doesn't want to marry her because he doesn't want to bring her pain. But
Yeah.
then as the story unfolds, and this is part of this is not necessarily true, but from Kuma's perspective it is true. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
what he would have known. Ultimately, she is taken by the world government and by the celestial dragons because he wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
forced to bear a child, and then died to an illness that he could have never protected her from in the first place.
Right. An illness that was inflicted on her by Saturn.
By Saturn, but he doesn't know that, right? At least at this point. I don't know if he doesn't know
No.
it still. But like from Kuma's perspective, he pushed her away, literally push, like he does with his fruit, pushed her away
Mm-hmm.
to protect her, only
Yeah.
for her to be hurt more because he wasn't there, and then die without him there because there was nothing he could do, even if she was
Right.
with him. He couldn't push away that pain and take it for her.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the fact that it's just so devastating
Yeah.
that
It's
like Kuma goes through all this pain so that she doesn't have to suffer, only for her to suffer because he wasn't there.
right. God
Ugh.
damn.
God damn it. Ugh.
We gotta get through
We
this.
gotta get through this. We gotta
We
get through
can't we
this.
can't look at every panel
We
and
can't
say,
look at every
God damn, it's so
panel.
sad.
We goddamn it's so sad. But he joins with Dragon, and him
Mm-hmm.
joining with Dragon causes them to change into the Revolutionary Army now that they're a bigger power.
Mm-hmm.
Um Dragon is so interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. And
Dragon is
so,
so interesting. But like
at some point between the time where Kuma is joining the revolution and then the next time we see Dragon, he has gotten the tattoo.
yeah, he's gotten the tattoo, presumably after becoming the leader of the revolution.
Right. I wonder.
Um,
I need to look and see if there's any sort of like symbolism or like iconography that's associated with that
I
tattoo.
don't know. I mean, he wears it as like a sash on his leg in the
Yeah.
previous design. It's just very interesting. Um, and we have God, the call from her
Yeah.
is just so devastating. And I want to
Hmm.
briefly mention the start of this chapter. Oda apologizes for the art not being finished.
Yeah.
The art not being finished in this chapter makes it so much more
So much more
emotionally devastating.
devastating.
It makes me hurt so much harder.
Yeah. It's the change in art style. It's so much more sketchy and raw, which goes to service
The
the emotion that
emotion.
is portrayed in this section, in this chapter. and you
Don't
and
worry,
you
I'll
just
raise your
see
daughter.
the sapphire scales on Guinea's arms, and that kill her,
They'd kill her.
and that was done to her by
By
Saturn.
St. J. Garcia Saturn just to see what it would do, basically?
Mm-hmm.
And just.
Uh, and he
And then
raises Bonnie.
he raises Bonnie, and Bonnie gets the same problem she does. And Bonnie is so fun
Mm-hmm.
in this section, man.
Yeah,
She is
I
this
love Bonnie,
she is
dude.
this breath of light into this section, even though it's
Mm-hmm.
obviously still devastating for
Yeah.
me and for Kuma. But her being here is so
Uh-huh.
nice.
Yeah.
And I love that Dragon is so interesting to me, man.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even fight Kuma on it. He says live without regrets. We'll ask
Yeah.
every doctor in the world we can. I'm so fascinated to learn more about Dragon.
Even though Dragon has a very different view of like the relationship between parent and child,
Yeah.
obviously. He's the type, I mean, very much like Kuma with Ginny or Ginny, to keep Luffy at an arm's reach or further, to not interact because a child is a parent's weakness.
Yeah. And that he doesn't
And
want Luffy to be the
Dragon
target
Dragon
because of
cannot
Dragon.
afford to have a relationship with his son because he can't afford
Yeah.
to
Because he's
be
the
a
most wanted
parent.
man in the world.
Exactly. Because if he has a relationship with his child, then that puts his child in danger.
But Kuma will sacrifice anything for anyone,
Hmm.
let alone the daughter of the woman he loved, right?
Yeah.
And just like every little bit of them
And
interacting.
the moment so like I hadn't, when reading this the first time, I hadn't cried like until the moment where Kuma tells Bonnie that the rocks on her face are her jewels, and realizing that's why she's called Jewelry Bonnie.
Bonnie, oh,
I don't know why that one broke me so bad.
just with a big grin on his face, your jewels. They're just
Yeah.
jealous because it makes you look so beautiful. And then he learns that she's not gonna make it to age 10,
Yeah. Which is the age that we meet her at.
which is the age we met her at without the disease.
And so you know,
You know why he did it immediately. You know why he
yeah.
did it. And so, and then Kuma goes on this rampage to take out
Hmm.
the guy terrorizing this kingdom and making
Right.
Bonnie's
Kuma
life
the
more dangerous.
pacifist.
Kuma the pacifist goes on a rampage. And who is it that takes Kuma down? But Saint J. Garcia again, who
Because he
learns
just
of the
has it out
problem,
for him and has this whole time.
and Bonnie's got a devil fruit.
Yeah.
She doesn't know when she ate.
That we find out later on was given to her by fucking Saturn
Yeah, mixed into her food.
to see if you could gain the powers of a devil fruit without being able to eat solid food.
God, I hate him.
Ugh.
And so then Kuma, to protect Bonnie, has to leave. He gains a bounty and he has to leave her behind
Hmm.
so that he doesn't bring pain to her.
Yeah.
And he goes around looking for a. It's like, it's almost. I think it's the exact same kingdoms that we saw from
Yeah,
Khorasan.
this is
It's the
no,
exact
this is
same, like.
n- not exactly. These are all the places that he sent the Straw Hats.
Oh my god, you're. I mean, you're so. Actually, you're completely right.
Yeah, that's the Muggy Kingdom. That's the Bird
The
Island with
old
Chopper.
Vegapunk one, the Bird Island, the slave place where she went, the sky place. I didn't
Hmm.
even notice some of these,
Yeah, with
like the
area.
weather with
You see,
area.
you see Heracles from the whatever that
Yeah,
island
Heracles.
was.
He's been to all these places. He knew where they would be
Hmm.
best fit.
Yeah.
Um, and so then it's just so interesting. God, I just love
Oh,
Kuma,
I just
man.
he meets back up with Dragon
And
and
Dragon tells him about a friend named Doctor Vegapunk.
uh
Ordinarily, he's under heavy security, but right now he's in a period of transition. And so Kuma goes to meet with him, and and the fact that Bonnie the whole time doesn't know that she's gonna die before 10 because she
Mm-hmm.
thinks she's gonna be safe by 10.
God.
And so then, Vegapunk is like, okay, I'll just make some clones of you and then I'll fix your daughter. It's no big deal.
Mm-hmm. And
God.
I really like seeing Vegapunk in this way, where he is still seems like he is the more of like the mad scientist that he was like with Mads.
Hmm.
You see him with seemingly like the looser morals than we see him with in the future, and
Yeah.
like not being as benevolent and kind. He still seems like this sort of mad scientist
Yeah.
who
And
is more concerned with doing his doing his research at any cost. you know so he's willing to sort of
make a
make
deal
these
with.
make these like manipulative deals with Kuma to get Buccaneer DNA, to get his cloning project more off the ground, you know.
Yeah.
And it seems like over the course of these few years that he spends with Kuma is what brings him back. It
Yeah. Spending
like
time
gets
with the
him
world's biggest pacifist.
right, is what brings him to be this more benevolent figure that we know in the future.
And then Borsalina shows up. This bitch.
Hmm.
I also am just now noticing, I didn't notice this during the live read, probably because I was crying. That Drake is here?
Oh shit, that is Drake.
I didn't even notice that he was here,
Me neither.
but he's here, I guess. I have nothing to say about it, but I just noticed it. And he brings a message from Saint J. Garcia, who brings an ultimatum um, about these conditions that he has to he gives to Kuma about becoming a warlord, being a weapon for the Navy, giving up your free will.
Hmm.
And, Vegapunk lashes out, and I think another one of the single most devastating moments as Kuma is crying, and we think he's crying tears of sadness.
Hmm.
But I think he's crying, he's crying tears of joy
Yeah.
because he'll do anything if it means curing Bonnie's disease, and he was so worried that it was going to be an impossible demand.
Oh my God.
But giving up his life to save hers is not an
He
impossible
says
demand.
thank
He
you.
says thank you to Saint J. Garcia, the man who's fucked up his life forever.
Hmm. His whole life has been fucked up by this one
One
guy.
guy. And he thanks him for the chance to cure Bonnie's disease. A disease that he put in her,
Yeah.
basically. Kuma is so. He's
Uh,
just so wonderful, man. You know?
hmm.
He goes through all these things, he does all this stuff. They do the Nika dance with Vegapunk and Sentimaru and Borsalino, and they have pizza parties with Bonnie.
Yeah. And she draws the picture
Yeah, she
that then
draws a little
becomes
picture that he puts.
Kuma's pirate flag.
Ugh,
Mm.
it's just so much, man. And so
It's
then, they take Bonnie back as she's cured,
right. And because of the
and
deal, she has to stay
she has to stay
inside.
inside and be watched by Khalifa.
That's not Khalifa, dog. You
Is it
keep calling her
not?
Khalifa.
Is
That is
this not
not
Khalifa?
Khalifa.
How do you know?
Her name's Alpha.
She had a
There's a
fake
dip.
name before, didn't she?
Why would they call? Why would they? This is.
Am I
I'm like
crazy?
100% sure that this is not Khalifa.
Why does it? I guess Oda doesn't know how to draw multiple women, is my problem. But this to me looks identical to Khalifa.
It looks very similar to
It's
Khalifa.
the same hair, it's the glasses, it's the lipstick. I don't know. I
There's a
don't see
different
why.
name though.
I, could they not have code names? I don't know. I guess they didn't have code names in any Slavi Water 7,
Yeah.
which seems like a terrible idea for them, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think she looks identical to Khalifa. Maybe I'm crazy.
Like they look very similar, but I'm very certain that that is not Khalifa.
Oda draw two women challenge. And just Kuma, under the assumption that he's never going to see his daughter again, says thank you for being born.
Oh my god. It's it's horrifying. It's horrible, it's bad. Stop reading this story.
And then we have all these sections where we get little snippets of him writing letters to her
Yeah.
about all the fun places that he's been that he can't wait for her to see
Hmm.
and that he's going to take her when they get there.
Ooh.
You know,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I know.
I I don't know. I would say I wish I had more analysis to say on this, and I do, but I want to get to the end of it. I want to get through the emotion first.
Yeah.
And then we get to some of the Luffy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where Kuma has been watching this kid almost
Hmm.
like not for, as a favor to Dragon, but almost because he wants to know what Dragon's kid is up to. He wants to let Dragon
Right.
know.
Hmm.
Children are a vulnerability for any parent, but Kuma still watches it. And just Luffy alone after Ace has left and Sabo's died, talking to the animals.
Right.
He's just so cute, man. Little Luffy. This is gonna be one of my special attacks, and then I'm gonna find crewmates and we're gonna fight tough guys. And when I won't hold back, I'll use Gum Gum Axe, which is like one of his most basic attacks
Yeah.
that he's ever used, maybe. Oh,
God.
it's just so good.
Hmm.
And then just seeing all of his letters, sending
Yeah.
10 a month, being ripped to
This
shreds,
was I would have loved to have been sad at this moment, but I was just enraged.
and Bonnie being so sad that she hasn't received letters and that her dad said that he was going to write and he hasn't.
Hmm. God. It makes me it just makes me so happy that Bonnie did eventually get to see all
All
the
the
memories
letters, all the
and read the
memories.
letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this panel of her just sitting here pouting and then breaking down says, "You said you would write. Or don't you
Yeah.
know I'm
I'm
9
9
now,
now,
Daddy?"
Daddy.
Ah!
You said you'd write me letters. Ugh.
Oh my God.
And then, like, it's just, ugh. You know?
Yeah, man, I know.
And so Bonnie sneaks out using her age
Mm.
fruit
Mm-hmm.
um, on a ship decorated to look like a pizza to go find her dad. Uh,
And now
and
this
now this is interesting.
is really interesting
Um, is that
because she can, through the use of whatever distorted future is, has the ability to change into a Nika-like future and do a fucking gum gum pistol.
yeah, and presumably, as Vegapunk mentioned last section, that the devil fruits are presumably
Hmm.
the wishes, people's dreams of what humanity could eventually become, a potential future evolution.
Right,
She is able to age herself into those future evolutions so long as she believes that they exist.
right.
And as we see in the future, as she's grown older, has lost faith in the idea of Nika, has become weaker, is the
Hmm.
inevitable Chekhov's gun of when she realizes who Luffy is.
Right.
And that she's going to be able to emulate what Nika can do even stronger than she used to
Hmm.
when she
And
knows
I think
truly that it's
I think
real.
it's so interesting that's how the whatever
That
age fruit
age
works.
fruit works.
And so the having a literal child have this power, a child whose imagination and who can believe these insane things, makes her so much more powerful.
Yeah, is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love all these little things like that she's gained infamy because she leaves a bunch of injured children and elderly people in her wake
Yeah.
because she's turning them into children and elderly people and then
Mm-hmm.
leaving. Um and that she really is successfully chasing Kuma, but he has to leave each time.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that his like white eyes are reframed as glasses
Yeah.
and they've been that
And then
way
we
the
finally
whole
get to
time.
see his pupils, which makes Kuma so much more human in these sections.
Yeah.
Which now that we actually get to see his eyes.
And the way that she says
And,
she wants to look for Nika too.
mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the East flew, and it's I love it.
And
Oh,
Luffy set sail.
Luffy set sail, become known to the public,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
the
then we
shot
get
of
a
Ace bragging about his little brother to Jinbei.
uh-huh. And then
It's just
Kuma
so
becomes
good.
aware of Luffy.
Yeah. What a strange twist of fate, Dragon. Both of our children are pirates. And the way that like she has this same pirating mentality that Luffy does. Steal whatever
Exactly.
you want from the bad guys. Don't help other people unless they need it.
Mm-hmm. This childlike view of
Of
pirates.
pirates, of being free and going on adventures and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets the
The little
jewelry on her under her eyes so that her daddy will recognize her.
oh my
Dude,
god.
come on.
Come on, Oda. What the fuck, man?
Ugh.
This is not cool.
And then we cut
You think it's
to
cool to
Thriller
make me
Bark.
cry?
I think he does.
Yeah, and we
And
get
then
though nothing happened from Kuma's
nothing happened from
perspective.
Kuma's perspective. Even I might pass out from this one. You have
Hmm.
exceptional friends. He's your son after all, Dragon.
People keep saying that.
And I think it's even more interesting that it comes from the people who hate Dragon and also from Kuma.
Yeah.
The people who hate Dragon, like the Marines, see him, he is the
Well,
son
no.
of
Even
Dragon.
even Iva said that.
Yeah, the people who are
So
close to
even
Dragon and the people who aren't think that he's just like
yeah,
Dragon. And probably for
which
opposite reasons, right?
yeah, probably.
Like the
Which like
world government thinks he's like Dragon.
does Dragon have? I need to know so much more about Dragon.
I need to know more about Dragon. I mean, it's likely that Dragon is just like Luffy and he's like Garp,
Yeah,
but
this
he's
goofy
the
probably,
world
but
has
he is
not let him
forced
be.
to be this serious guy who can't even be with his son, watch his son grow up because he is the world's most wanted man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then he goes to Sabaody right before the war in Marineford, and he looks at
Hmm.
Bonnie one last time,
Yeah.
and then he goes. He sees Luffy attack a celestial dragon.
And he sees all these exploits that Luffy does, and he sees Nika in Luffy before anyone
Before
else.
anyone else.
You
And
know,
then apologizes to
he's
Iva and Dragon.
hmm
I will leave behind the mark of my existence in Bonnie and the future of this boy. We have Luffy breaking down. I couldn't
God, I
save
can't.
any of them after Kuma has saved them. Kuma has saved them.
Exactly.
Luffy breaking down and seeing from Kuma's perspective what used to be this horrifying creature robot staring Luffy down having killed his crew, but in reality the whole time that's not true. This is just the
Yeah.
level of the new world. It's still too soon for the likes of your crew. Don't come here yet. One day in the future, you will be the man who saves the world.
Oh
I just
God.
fuck. Okay,
I
we're
can't
almost
even.
there. We're almost
Fuck.
there. We're almost there. I don't have to cry. I can get it through this without crying.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
And we see the final moments
gonna cry
of
again.
Kuma's
The final moments we
sentience.
get when he chooses to give the order. After that is done, I'd like you to program a mission. You want to stand guard over Straw Hat's ship? I would like to protect their home. God, imagine if I loved the Sunny. Oh my god. Fuck me. Okay. Even though I won't be around to witness their growth. Something in his actions shakes the very core of my being. I know I'm just reading, but like,
That's fine.
come
It's
on, right?
poignant.
Nika's only a legend, but I instilled into Bonnie the stories of a warrior who rides the rhythm of liberation and brings smiles to all. If there is a hero who will bring a great transformation to the sea, I think it must be him.
Oh,
And so he leaves,
dude.
he ejects all of his pain, including his memories and his consciousness. How much of a nuisance was I in the end? And just the shots of Kuma running in desperation and
Running.
sadness in the same pose as when he's dancing, doing the Nika
Mm-hmm.
dance.
Yup,
Fuck.
dude.
I can't look at this page. This page fucks me up so bad. Oh my god. Your death is a nuisance to everyone who's ever known and loved you. Listen to me, Kuma. You are a hero to Bonnie and us all.
Dude, I can't. I'm sorry.
Say Vegapunk. And he doesn't even get to say it out loud. He doesn't get to tell Vegapunk. But Vegapunk already knows what he's gonna say. Thank you for
Oh my
saving
god.
Bonnie. If you should see her, pass on a message for me. Tell her I wish her a very happy 10th birthday.
Birthday.
It's the first time I've gotten through that line in one take. Oh my god.
I'm not okay.
I'm not okay either.
Holy shit, dude.
God, I fucking love Kuma. Right?
Oh my god.
And I just
Yeah.
I think now is the moment to talk analytically about Kuma. I'm gonna get us off this page at least.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Because I have a couple different things I want to talk about with Kuma before we get into the end of this section.
Yeah,
And I'm sure you probably have some thoughts on Kuma as well.
I definitely do.
First, I want to start by keeping it in the realm of One Piece. And I want to talk about
Uh-huh.
Kyros.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I am a known Kyros lover. I think
Mm-hmm.
Kyros is underrated from my understanding of what people talk about with One Piece. I don't know if that's true or
Mm-hmm.
not, but to me, it seems that that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have a really interesting inversion on what happens with Kyros in um,
And Kuma.
Kuma's story,
Mm-hmm.
because Kyros is also this like figure who he has the I mean he has the child, but he whose Kuma is still like there is part of Kuma that's like I'm not. I mean, he literally thinks of himself as a nuisance, even at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same way that Kyros is not able to like even touch his daughter. And then in the inversion of Kyros, where Kuma gets to be with Bonnie as a child and then is turned into a puppet after, and he can't see her ever
Right.
again. Kyros
Yeah,
is
you're
turned
right.
into a puppet at the start and is there
Uh-huh.
for her as a child, but she doesn't even know. And then is
Oh man,
able to
dude.
be that father for her. And I mean, there's a part of me that desperately hopes that Kuma will get to be that father for her still, but I don't think it's gonna
Nuh-uh.
happen. I don't think that he's
Kuma's
really there.
Kuma's gone and has been gone.
I think that whatever Kuma is now is sort of like a, I don't know, like a lingering will Kingdom Hearts situation where he is a
Yeah,
shell with a
he is
will in it that is
he is
moving.
a vestige of his former self
Yeah,
that is just acting on instinct, basically, is what I feel.
yeah. And I just, the way that like Oda is able to show these people who the world believes are tyrants and violent and destructive.
But wait, but wait, but wait, but wait, but wait. What if what if we know that the cloning tech through the bloodline element is able to have some sort of effect on the personality of the clone? And so what if there's the pacifistas, they still have some of him in there?
What if all the pacifistas want to protect Bonnie?
Yeah.
I don't want to cry, so I'm gonna not think
What if
about that. How
what
about
if he's
that?
still in there, man?
What if I don't want to cry, so I'm not gonna think about it? How about that?
God damn it.
But I really love the way Oda is able to depict fatherhood in such an interesting way with Kuma and
Yeah.
Kiddos.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I wish I had more to say about that with Kiddos.
No,
I love
I think I
Kiddos
get what
a
you're
lot,
saying. Hmm.
and I think it's
And it
interesting that he is an inverted story to Kuma. And it
oh
makes me
man,
wonder where Bonnie will go,
from here.
because Rebecca being saved by her father did not have to hold a sword ever again, but Bonnie is a
Right.
pirate that the world government wants to erase, basically, for her connections to Kuma.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, she literally wielded a sword to injure the elder before this flashback started.
Yeah, exactly.
She is also in a way an inversion of Rebecca.
Right.
So to me, that begs the question: is what does Luffy do? Because
Ooh.
Luffy loved Rebecca. He was a big fan of
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh
when
man.
somebody is like Rebecca and like Luffy, how does Luffy respond?
Hmm.
What does the God of Liberation do next? And
Oh, okay.
then
Let's finish out this these.
before I
Oh,
move on to my
you got
other thing,
more.
do you have anything on Kuma you want to talk about first before I move out of
I
One
mean,
Piece a little bit?
I think we've got it. I think we got most of it through the backstory, and then that bit with Kitos, I think is really poignant. So
Okay.
I think we're good to move
All
on a
right.
little
Well,
bit.
I'm not good to move on.
I know
I have
you got to talk about Yakuza.
I have to talk about Yakuza slash Like a Dragon. I keep talking about it because I love it very much,
Yep.
and I want to talk about it in the context of Kuma. So I'm going to try and do this without making any major spoilers to the Yakuza series. I guess incoming spoilers for Yakuza 1.
I mean, we could. I mean, do you just want to issue a spoiler warning so you can talk about it freely?
Well, I don't want to spoil you either, is the problem.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm going to issue a light spoiler warning for Yakuza that hopefully, if we ever do get around to Yakuza, which I don't know if we will have left your mind. And if it's you here watching, just like wait maybe a year and then come and watch Yakuza or play Yakuza. Don't
Yeah.
watch it. The show was whatever. Anyways, light spoiler warning ahead for the Yakuza series generally, and for Kazuma Kiryu, the main character of the first 6 games or 7 games, I guess. So
That's
my connection with Kuma and Kiryu, if you've seen or watched or played Like a Dragon, is sort of obvious. So Kiryu is this who is on the outside this threatening. He's the dragon of Dojima. He is the one of the most dangerous yakuza in Japan,
mm,
and as is revealed throughout the many games that he has been the main character, he's a big ol' softy, right? But
yeah.
in the plot
Yeah,
of Yakuza
we talked
1,
about this during the Dressrosa when talking about Kitos, right?
yeah, we talked about it. Well,
Yeah.
I think we talked about no, that was a
Or is that
different
a
thing.
different guy? Oh, never mind
I
then.
talked about Majima with Kiros.
Okay.
Because I think Majima makes more sense with Kiros. I talked about Saijima with Rebecca and Cavendish, and now I'm talking about Kiryu with Akuma. But the plot, main sort of events that occur in Yakuza 1 is that Kiryu um, gets his. So, like, he is in love with this one girl, and then she almost gets assaulted by his boss, and so his best friend kills her, kills the boss, whatever. So basically, he comes back 20, or like, I think he's in prison for like 20 years. He comes back, um, and he finds this little girl in this bar that has been shot out by the Yakuza, and ends up spending most of this journey with this little girl who is Haruka, who becomes his sort of like adoptive daughter. And at
Right.
the end, it is revealed that she is the daughter of the person that Kiryu was in love with before he got thrown in prison.
Mm.
And so then for the next many games, Kiryu is a father to Haruka in a very similar way to the way that Kuma is with Bonnie, of like, the person I loved left one last thing in this world before she was gone,
Hmm.
and so I will raise her as my own no matter what.
Right.
And the way that in many different stories, the way that like throughout the series, that Kiryu is like, his life is made more difficult because he cares for these children and for this child,
Mm-hmm.
and it's similar to like the weakness thing that the dragon mentions. And then eventually, like, it's light spoilers for Yakuza 6. In Yakuza 6, Kiryu, I think he gets, does he get thrown in prison a little bit again? I think he does. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. It's been a hot minute since I played them all, so my exact details are a little fuzzy. I'm sorry. Don't kill me, please. Um, but he comes back, and Haruka is in the hospital and has a child, but she's like in a coma, and she was like hit by a car or something, and she has a small child. And so Kiryu starts taking care of her child, this little like it's
Yeah.
like a newborn baby boy, and it
Mhm.
becomes this huge conspiracy that gets wrapped up in that Kiryu gets wrapped up in because of the person that Haruka was in love with and who had this kid with. And eventually, in order to protect both her and the Haruto, the young boy, her son, he has to die for them. Not literally
Mm.
die, but he has to, as far as the world knows, he is dead and gone.
Mm.
And he is not able to see them. He's not able to talk to them. He's not able to see his grandson grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of the way that Kuma is willing to sacrifice everything for Bonnie, even
Yeah.
his own life, and that Kiryu does the exact same thing in Yakuza 6 for Haruka.
Mm.
Um, and then that builds more in later stories in 7 and 8, but I don't have much to say about those with regards to this. I wish I had more of a deeper analysis other than that I think they are similar characters, which
Yeah.
makes me love Kuma even more because anybody that's played Yakuza loves Kazuma Kiryu. It's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like one of those, it's sort of like Luffy where it's like, "Oh, your favorite character is Kiryu. Okay, yeah, all right, we get it."
Right.
Like, yeah, duh. Yeah, duh, your favorite character is Kiryu. um but I don't know, I love seeing these parallels between different stories that I love.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just something about the way that these dangerous, imposing people, they're scorned by the world, guarding these just a little girl that the
Mm-hmm.
person they loved brought into the world and doing everything and anything to protect them even at the cost of their own life and without and
Right.
like the pain of themselves. And Kiryu is a very selfless person in the same way that Kuma is. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I love it. And I didn't
Yeah.
cry, so we're good. Anyways, let's move into the rest of it where we also cry more.
Yep. We're gonna cry again.
We're probably gonna cry again.
The one tiny little scene where Bonnie gets out of the memories and then her powers, I don't know if she deactivates them or if it does it on its own, and you just see her holding Vegapunk's legs and crying
Yeah. And then
as in
getting
this as a this tiny little 12-year-old girl. She's just like this is her effectively like her granddad.
yeah. And just getting the present, the 10th birthday present.
10th birthday present.
It was supposed to be a good luck charm for you. Ugh. And so we cut to back to the present, um, with Jay Garcia saying that Kuma is
Holding
dead,
Bonnie.
holding Bonnie, getting ready to have the entire Marines fire squad kill her while the Straw Hats literally can't move from whatever his powers are. While Luffy's begging for food,
As he does.
as
It's
he
his thing.
does. And the world, just the cutting to the world. I just This dragon is so interesting.
Yep.
And like, if if Kuma was running off, where do you think he'll go? If it were me, I'd charge Marikwa, but Kuma's different.
Hmm.
I think and of course he's going to his daughter.
Yeah.
But how does whatever instinct is left in him knows where she is?
Yeah. I don't know. I just I have to wish that there is just even the slightest bit left of Kuma inside there.
And
But also
then
we find out that Kuma should have been completely deactivated.
yeah, Kuma. you know, Garcia wanted Vegapunk to put in a self-destruct button. Vegapunk didn't do that, but instead he put in the same thing causes him to completely shut down in no orders, no will, no nothing. He should be
Right.
completely non-functional or completely exploded. One of the two has to be true, and he's
Hmm.
somehow neither.
Yeah.
Instead is using the pawpaw fruit. Some part of him is still alive that the pawpaw fruit still is not left him.
Right.
Traveling all the way. God, and the fucking I hate this guy. I hate Jay Garcia so much. This is one of the most just the years later I performed a
I have an
chemical experiment
idea.
on your mother. Really?
What if the reason that Kuma is able to move now is because Bonnie took away or got rid of the memory bubble and it went back to him?
Oh, that's an idea. Opened the room
What if
and let it go back to him.
exactly?
I can only
What
hope
if
that he's in
that's
there.
the there? What if he's in there, bro? What if he's
I
in
can
there?
only hope that he's in there, but I really
But
don't
if
think
he's
he
in
is.
there, that means he's gonna die again. Because he's not making it out of here, man.
No.
And then we're gonna have to watch Kuma die again.
Akuma die again in front of his 12-year-old daughter, bro. Um
Oda
God,
loves hurting me.
and the
Me
fact that
specifically.
like Garcia goes on this whole thing that basically he tortured Kuma because he believed in Nika.
Yeah.
He remembers for 40 years he said to me, I want to save people like Nika does. And he performed an experiment that was not intended to give the disease. It was a failure because they showed up again. Which begs
Hmm.
the question what they're working on and whether or not
Yeah,
it's
what
been
were they actually
successful at this
working on?
point.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, God, I hate him. I just keep saying it, but every panel I
Yeah,
turn, I
no,
hate him more.
he is the I feel like we've had so many of these characters who are like just the absolute scum of the earth, the worst human being you could possibly imagine.
And somehow he's
And
worse.
they're always members of the government for some reason. Wonder what that's
That or
about.
Doflamingo, and he's also kind of a member of the
Yeah,
government,
he's also
so
a celestial dragon.
put yourself in my shoes. Would you bother yourself with the feelings of insects? He says.
Ugh.
But then Kuma arrives on the scene,
Mhm.
and both Jay Garcia
He's
and
still
Vegapunk
running.
are Kuma, but how? I can't even speak. Hey, Daddy, I think my spirit is breaking down. Maybe it'll be easier if I just die. I'm sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy,
Just
after
like
all
what
you did for me.
Kuma's dad said about
Just like Kuma's dad said. Just like Kuma thought when his mother died.
right. Just like Kuma thought with himself.
Yeah.
He thought himself a burden till the very end.
And yet there he is, protecting his daughter. And then
And Kuma lands
in
one
our
of the most
in our final chapter,
devastating, most
be,
insane hits I have ever seen
he
put to the fucking screen, put
put
to
to
the
the fucking
page.
page, put to ink. Oh
Oh my
God, look at that
god.
shit. Do yourself
Just
a favor, go to open chapter 1104 right now and look at this punch on page like
look at
2
page
or
number 2.
it is beautiful.
It is
And just
insane.
years of
Decks the fuck out of Saturn
over 40 years of Saturn fucking with Kuma's
with
life
Kuma.
in one unbelievable punch.
Yeah, and I mean this is also the same. I don't like. I think this feels more intentional because he didn't like say that the art was unfinished, but like the same sort of sketchy ass art style
Yeah.
where like it just looks like he's scribbling on the page at some points just to sell this impact.
Yeah. And I
What
absolutely
and
adore it.
One Piece is no stranger to incredibly impactful punches,
Yeah. I
but
am
this one
extremely excited
feels
to see this animated.
oh yeah. Once we come back,
Yeah. Cuz for the first time ever I'm ahead of the anime because this
I
section
guess
caught up.
I don't know. Maybe we should have told people to not watch who are anime onlys, but they
If
know.
they're an anime only, surely they know that
Yeah, they
Egghead's
know.
not done. I don't care. If you got spoiled because you're an anime only, why are you this far into the video? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been fighting to avoid spoilers for months.
Yeah,
I'm
you could do
sorry.
it too.
You can do it too. God, I just like in my head I picture the same kind of visual when Luffy punched the Celestial
As
Dragon in
Luffy
Sabaody.
punching, yeah, I just like the black and white panel. You see the impact for like multiple seconds where his fist is just like straying against his face. I can only imagine what
Yeah.
sort of crazy impact frames the One Piece animators are gonna put in that
Oh
punch.
yeah.
Oh my
And
god! And
and
then you see
Bonnie, little baby Bonnie,
little baby Bonnie.
crawling all the way up, as being held in his arms, climbing all the way up to his head. Thank you, Daddy. I saw all of your memories. You wrote me all those letters after all. Everyone calls you a tyrant, but I know my daddy is the kindest and most wonderful man in the entire world, and I'll never forget it. God, I love them. I love
Mm,
these two so fucking much, man.
so much.
And this bastard gets
And
back up after that
unfortunately,
because his
Saturn
body
is
fucking
not taking down.
regenerates. I mean, he did lose an entire limb and one of his horns,
And
but they grow
just
back somehow.
regenerates them? Ugh.
Ugh. But it at least hurt him enough for the Straw Hats to be able to move again, at least for a time.
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
Sanji is able to clutch up and parry, protecting Kuma and Bonnie.
Let's go, Sanji.
I also like
My goat.
that Sanji, very Luffy-esque, calls him Spider Gramps.
Hmm.
And Frankie lands a mean ass hit on him,
Yeah.
and then
The
gets
radical beam. And then
attacked
gets
in the
radical
back.
beamed.
It gets radical beamed in the back by Kizaru, and we don't know if Frankie's okay.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Frankie also died?
If Frankie dies, I'm very upset. I
I don't think any of the Straw Hats besides Luffy are gonna die in this
I
story.
don't think so either. Um,
But
and so we get Vegapunk. Frankie's in a dubious state. Kizaru, you bitch. I do love this
mhm,
line after, Vegapunk calls him a sad man. He says, "Yes, I'm a miserable sight. I should have brought darker shades."
that's kind of hard.
That's kind of hard. I think it's an interesting
That's kind of
line.
really sick.
That's kind of really cool. He should have brought shades that would have stopped him from seeing what he has to do because a Buster Call has been activated.
I called it. I called
You
it.
did call it. You were right. I thought they were going to do something more extreme, but they have called the Buster Call. Those who study the
And I mean,
secrets of the world, those who possess the blood of a lost people, those who have awakened an ancient god. This island is full of inconvenient people who must be eradicated. What a cliffhanger, huh?
what a cliffhanger.
Oh, I love this shit, man. God,
Oh
this
my
whole
god.
section is so fucking good, right?
So good. It is so dense,
It's
dude.
so dense. The Kuma backstory is like devastating and awesome and
Yeah.
sad, and I love Kuma, and I really want to see where Kuma's story is going to end in this arc. Because I imagine that this arc, we're not going to see much of Kuma after this, I would imagine, if anything.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
Kuma's story ends here.
there are pacifistas, and there's the Seraphim that looks like Kuma
Right.
too, which I'm
True.
sure could become an
Oh
issue to
yeah,
deal with
true.
Bonnie. But I mean, maybe the
What
Seraphim.
if Esper has
What if Esper
the
has wants to
bloodline
care
element?
for Bonnie? Um, I'm just so excited to see how the Egghead incident ends.
Mm-hmm.
The Buster Call has been called. Is Vegapunk going to make it out after your idea about the old man in the boat? I'm not so sure that he's making it out.
I don't think he does.
I think there's a chance one of the satellites could make it out. Maybe Lilith. Maybe
Mm.
I guess what ones are even left? Because what is it? Pythagoras and Shaka are dead, right?
Yeah. Well, I think is Pythagoras. Pythagoras is just like a robot guy.
Well, they all are, aren't
Or is
they?
that Edison? Well, no, some of them
Well,
are
they're
like
both. Well,
human.
Edison and Pythagoras are both robot guys, but I'm pretty sure they said
Yeah.
Pythagoras was dead.
Okay. Then yeah.
Edison is injured. Lilith is mostly fine. York obviously is a bad guy.
Obviously, yeah.
And then it could be Atlas or
Uh,
Lilith, maybe. I feel like those two make
it could be
sense.
Atlas. I feel
Um,
like Lilith is
the
the most
most
fleshed out
Oda-esque.
and like Yeah, the most Oda Straw Hat-esque character. I feel like it makes the most sense for Lilith to be the one to make it out.
Yeah, I don't think it's Edison because he's
Which
just a little
and also
guy.
we've already seen Lilith, excuse me, doing like pirate-esque activity, trying to steal from the Straw Hats to get uh, to supplement her research budget.
Yeah, I
So
also
it
think it
feels
would
like
be
she's the most
interesting.
equipped to get out.
I also think it'd be interesting to see where we take, if we have Lilith as the only one left, where we take the evil Vegapunk without the other ones.
Yeah.
What does it look like if the evil Vegapunk is by themselves? There's no good to counterbalance it anymore because Shaka's dead. Um, I don't know. Do you have any predictions for this upcoming arc? That's something I get to ask you for the first time.
I mean, I guess I have the prediction that I think that Vegapunk, Saturn, and Garp are going to be dead by the end of this section, but maybe Saturn just survives to be the contrast.
I think Saturn will live. I'm still on the fence about Garp because I feel like it makes so much sense for Blackbeard to want to use Garp as leverage the way that he was going to use Kobe. But also, there's just the chance that Blackbeard's lackeys kill Garp before Blackbeard gets back there.
Yeah,
So,
I don't want Garp to die because I think that Garp needs to reconcile with Luffy,
I would say most likely, yeah.
but I also think it's it's another interesting narrative
At
uh
least I think
route
he's
we could go
going to
down.
die eventually because of this whole speech.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
not
yeah,
maybe not now, but eventually.
that's also another idea. But I think for sure Vegapunk doesn't make it off this island, or at least the Stella doesn't make it off this island.
Yeah. Uh I'm really interested to see how we interact with the Buster Call.
Yeah, because this is not like a regular Buster Call. Buster Call is typically 10 battleships.
Yeah,
This is 100
this is a
battleships.
super Buster Call with an admiral and an elder here.
Yeah,
But I suppose they're dropping it on the only people that have survived a Buster Call before. So,
yeah. The only and one of the only people who has done that
who's done that
twice.
twice with Nico Robin.
Uh-huh.
Um, so they really don't want them making it out.
Right.
Unfortunately, they're gonna make it out.
Sad that we didn't get to see the dumb gold snail again.
That's true. We didn't get to see them press the dumb gold snail. What a shame.
I still
Oda's
don't know if that
washed.
is I still don't know if that is a real living creature or if that is like
Designed to look like a transponder snail.
right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's
Let's.
funnier to imagine this creature that is made of pure gold and is just for some reason is what they decided to use to enact a Buster.
Yeah. Um,
But
I'm
I don't know
excited
if I
to
have any other
see.
predictions.
I think I obviously I think Luffy's gonna get back up and go Gear 5 again. My hope is that Bonnie will realize who Luffy is
Hmm.
by the end of this section. Realize that he is Nika.
Yeah.
Realize that he is the one that Kuma believed in.
Hmm.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe they do like a team up Nika punch or something. But maybe that's a little too
Yeah,
shonen
yeah,
brained
yeah.
of me.
I mean, you know.
And I really just want to know more about Saint J. Garcia Saturn because he is such a.
Yeah.
I for one I hate him obviously, but he's just like, what is
Yeah,
he,
he is
man?
the most
What are these guys?
reprehensible bastard.
And the fact that
Yeah.
he's only one of five, how are they going to get progressively
Hmm.
worse?
Yeah.
How could they? Who could they possibly have fucked with as bad as Kuma? We don't know of anybody
Really?
like that, do we? Like they could possibly be the one?
No.
I don't know. It's just very interesting. I'm very excited to see where it's going.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and we're getting so close to being caught up, which is scary and
Scary.
exciting at the same time. I'm wondering. There's just so many pieces that are moving right now.
Hmm.
Like what is Vivi gonna do? How does Vivi come
Right.
back into the story?
There's
Because
there's been
because like
so much
with the D thing,
cutting
Vivi has
around
to
that
come
like
back now.
there's so many things that are left unanswered.
And then like Sabo is now presumably on a mission to find Luffy to deliver Cobra's message. if they deliver that message to
Yeah.
Luffy, will Luffy then turn around to go find Vivi? Because we already decided we weren't going to go find her unless we knew she was in danger.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's
I don't
so many
know.
pieces, and like, what the fuck does the D mean, man?
Come on,
Bringing it
Oda.
back again,
Just
but
tell
like
me.
Nefertari D Vivi is such a crazy reveal, right?
Yeah.
I just like there's so many pieces. It feels like we're moving into the end game, and yet there's an infinite amount of things we still have to do.
Right.
Because we have to know what the weapons are. We have to find them, presumably have them all show up. We have to return
Uh-huh.
to Wano. We've got to get Vivi back somehow.
I mean, we know where we're
Sabo is
going next.
important. We know we're going to Elbaf next because they've told us in story, and also we knew,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I wish I didn't know. And then, like, what's next for Law and Kid and Buggy and Blackbeard and Shanks and
Uh,
Kobe? And, like, there's so many things, right?
there's so many
There's an infinite
things.
amount of things. And then, like, is Frankie all right? Is Zoro okay fighting Lucci? How are we
Yeah.
getting
What
everybody
is
out on the Sunny?
we have Atlas carrying Kuma, trying to get him up to the
Labo
lava
phase to
phase.
help, to help him or like to stabilize him. There's just so many moving parts, and
Let's
there's so
let's
little to
let's end
go.
this section so that we can read more and find out.
So true. Now you're speaking my language.
Let's do
Um,
plugs.
let's do plugs. Plug
You
time.
guys, hey, plug time. It's
Plug
plug
time.
time. Hey, you YouTube viewer, you like One Piece, right?
Yes,
Hit the
I
like
do.
button for One Piece.
Oh boy, I'll hit the like button.
Yeah, you watched all of this video and you watched, so you must like us at least a little bit. So hit the subscribe button too.
Oh boy, I sure want to hit
And
the
then you
subscribe button.
after you hit that subscribe button, it'll pop up with a thing with a bell icon. Hit that too so that you get notifications when we post videos.
Oh boy,
We
I
try to
love
post
ringing
videos
bells.
we try to post videos every Saturday, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And so do it so you know when we post videos. And if you also like Kuma or One Piece or us, you should leave a comment so that the world knows that you like Kuma or One Piece or us. And if you leave a comment that will make me or Lad cry, we leave a love heart on it.
And this is a really
And
easy week.
really, really easy, guys.
You
I
type like
promise you.
you just type 10th birthday, and
Yeah,
that'll
really.
probably do enough.
But if you want to do the YouTubey things so that we can show these cool videos to more people, please
And so
do,
that our
because
dopamine
that's
will go up.
yeah.
I
So
love when the number goes up.
if we get bigger number, we're better people,
Yeah,
and
bigger
that's
number,
important.
better people, and you have the power to make a bigger number.
Exactly.
Great plug work. I think that's enough plugging. With that all
With
said,
cheers.
cheers.